the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Yeah. What's up? It's that boy Coach Malachi Williams in the building. We back, y'all. Drop my way up. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Never mind. I just leave it on this. We back, y'all. We back. Sorry about that. We back. Been kind of busy. It's been very, very hectic. You know what I mean? But we back live. You know what I mean? I'm going to get everything set up. Got to show you guys a lot of stuff that I have going on right now. A lot of the equipment that I was able to buy. I want to thank everyone who has ever sent me a super chat. I know the last time I was on was Saturday, and I did a little short live. I want to say Monday, maybe. Yeah, maybe Monday, something like that. Something a little short. But right now, guys, we're going to get right into it. You know what I mean? So salute to everybody in the chat, man. Coach Malachi Williams in the building. We're going to hit the Ali bell for everybody. We need YouTube to send the notifications out to let everybody know that we're on. We've been off for a few days. I've been, working like crazy. But other than that, we back. Hit the Ali bell for everybody. The Ali bell one more time. The bell is back. You see what I'm saying? And we're going to give everybody a round of applause. Everybody a round of applause right now. Everybody a round of applause right now. You see what I'm saying? That's what we're going to do. Yes, sir. We're going to give everybody a round of applause. Did everybody hear me? If you can hear me, man, let me know, man. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know what time it is. Let me know what time at TI is. Yeah, man, for sure, man. Shout out to my brother Shelton Moore in the building. Shout out to my brother Bill Taylor. You see what I'm saying? Shout out to Hooligan Music. Hooligan, what's going on, fam? Shout out to my co-host, Shelton Moore. Shout out to Wizard Sleeve. I'm gonna drop the link. I'm gonna drop the link down below. Let me go ahead and drop this link right quick for Shelton. Let's do this. Sorry about that, guys. That's what I had them on earlier. I literally just got back in the house. Like, literally just got back in. So let me go ahead and drop this link from my brother Shelton right quick. And that's it. So, yeah, man. So, absolutely, man. So, shout out to my brother Halim. Halim, hey, man. Listen, man, I don't have the shirt on right now, but Halim, what's going on? What's going on, brother? Salute to my brother Halim. Shout out to Peter Von Arts. Shout out to Wizard Sleeve. Shout out to Jules and Nicholas. Shout out to Eliza, what's going on, fam? Shout out to Toon, man. Shout out to my brother Toon. Shout out to Reptile Lifestyle. You see what I'm saying? What do you say? Walking in a Fury Wonderland. There's only one. I hear you. Shout out to my brother Charlo. Charlo, what's going on, fam? Shout out to Bacon and Eggs. Shout out to Bacon and Eggs. Shout out to who else we have? Everybody gonna come rolling in for a minute. Everybody gonna roll in. Shout out to Elvis. Shout out to Elvis, man. You know what I mean? Shout out to New Money DMG. New Money. What's going on, fam? Shout out to Eliza, man. Hey, man. Once again, thanks my brother Eliza for the super chat. Going to set this up right here. I got my Elgato stream deck. Let my brother Shelton in. Shelton just came in the building, man. Shout out to my brother Shelton Moore. Just came in the building.
Salute to you, coach. Salute to the chat. How's everybody doing today?
Yeah, man. Salute to everybody, man. Salute to everybody. Hey, Shelton, I gotta show you something. I want to show everybody in the chat something right quick. What you say, Liza? Keep the grind up. Keep the grind up. Good, bro. Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you. You know that. I'm gonna show you something, brother. Let me show you something, Liza. Hold on for 1 minute. I got everything right here. Show you something. Where's the camera? Gotta show you guys something. What the hell did I do on my camera? Have to show you guys something, man. Some of the stuff that I was able to buy from the donations, from the super chats. Where in the hell is? Oh, wait a minute. Anyways, I don't have to show you the camera. because I don't know what the hell I did with it. I'm looking for the camera. It was around here somewhere. Anyways, I was able to buy. This is top of the line camera when you want to stream. Anybody want to stream? The Sony 6100 is one of the best cameras that you can buy. Right now, I'm using webcams. I have the Nexio webcam right here, right? And I'm actually talking to you guys through a webcam right now. That's what I'm looking at right here on my computer. This is one of the best microphones that you can buy, the Shure microphone, right? So I even have a arm, so you'll be able to see how I have it set up. I'm not finished setting up yet. So this is what I was able to buy with some of the super chats. And ta-da! So guess what? We're gonna be accepting phone calls in a minute, brother. So when they're gonna be calling in.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
So now we're gonna be accepting phone calls. I haven't set it up yet. You see it's still in the box, guys. So we're gonna be accepting phone calls, international numbers as well as local numbers. So that's what I did with the money that you guys sent me on the super chat. So I have this stuff is expensive. I'm not gonna lie, it's expensive. I had to put money with it myself, but it's expensive.
Oh,
I have
Hey, Coach, two things. Did you get the 2 fights I sent you yesterday?
Yeah, I got them.
Okay, cool.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't see all of it. I'm not gonna lie to you because I was, you know what I was doing.
Yeah. But you get a chance, but those are 2 excellent fights. You got to watch both of them.
I'm gonna watch them after the live.
Now, number 2, what's up with Eddie Hearn and that garbage he talking about this morning, man? What's up with that?
What did he say this morning? I didn't see it.
You guys just stay back and watch. There won't be a fight on the 24th.
Whoa, why he say that?
That's my question. Why are you saying it? But you know what? I'm being honest now. Don't nothing surprise me coming from Tyson Fury. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if he tried to find a way to weasel out of his fight. It wouldn't surprise me.
Hey, listen. This is what I wanted to ask you though. Wait, hold on. Shout out to my brother D-Town Blaster for the super chat, man. Shout out to D-Town Blaster for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Shout out to Angus. Shout out to Ivan. Shout out to Mark Remington. Man, shout out to Mark Remington, man. I said UK porn star in the building. Hey, shout out to Angus, my brother Charlo. Shout out to Daniel. Daniel, what's going on, fam? Shout out to Tommy Hill. Shout out to shout out to Leighton Evelyn. Shout out to you. Hey, listen, you know what, man? I really don't know what the hell is going on. Shout out to my brother In Bloom. And shout out to Michael Buffer in the building. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, listen, guys, I'm gonna set the phone. We're gonna have a real live phone system. I'm gonna have the belts. I'm gonna have all of the belts right here behind me. I may have to pull the table up a little bit more. I'm gonna have 2 monitors right here. I didn't even show you the monitors. I have a monitor to my right, which would be to your left on the screen, and a monitor to my left. So we're gonna have 2 monitors. So when I start doing a lot of screen sharing, damn, my hat look kind of crooked. When I start doing a lot of screen sharing, you'll be able to see a lot of that stuff. Shout out to my brother Smith and West. We're gonna address this. Smith and West, if you can, bro. We're gonna address this. Damn. Sorry about that, guy. I'm on the wrong. I got a mat I have a chair that's rolling. It's a rolling chair. So I got to make sure that it stays on the mat instead of on the carpet. It'll mess the carpet up. But yeah, what we're gonna do is Usyk. I definitely want to talk about Usyk, man, because I'm hearing, a lot of chatter about Oleksandr Usyk, about, AJ don't want to fight him. He's scared, yada, 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 yada. Usyk is now supposed to be this monster, something that he's never been. He is a good fighter. I cannot take anything away from him. He's a damn good fighter. He doesn't have a lot of power. He was pretty good. He was damn good in cruiserweight. He was good at cruiserweight. He was undisputed at cruiserweight, so I can't take that away from him. But I don't know. It is legit that Usyk can beat Anthony Joshua. It is legit. Usyk has damn good footwork and he can box. And he has an excellent amateur background. So when you look at his pedigree from a boxing standpoint, you can arguably say that, hey, listen, you know what, man? Usyk is a better overall, probably one of the better overall fighters in the heavyweight division. And maybe you can make an argument and say, hey, man, that all right, let me let everybody in. Give me a minute now. Smith and West, I got you guys. I got you. I got both of you guys. I'm finna let you in right now. Give me a minute. And you can make an argument and say that, hey man, skill wise, he may be better than Anthony Joshua from a skill standpoint. You know, but
Well, the whole thing, coach, is over money. Usyk wants more money. He don't want to accept the agreed upon, the usual for a mandatory 75-25. He wants more money. And AJ's like, look, dude, you not a draw. You can't draw flies to nothing without me.
right.
You gonna take this money. We already sent you a deal. You gonna take this money and we can fight. But you're not finna be, I'm not finna keep giving dudes boatloads of money who ain't worth it. You're not worth it. You haven't done anything to be worth more money than what I'm offering you.
No, Shelton, I totally agree with you on that, brother. I honestly really do agree with you on that. I mean, Usyk asking for a boatload of money, and I'm like, for what, dude? You don't have a title. You're a mandatory. You're gonna have to fight me anyways and accept whatever. But now Eddie Hearn don't want it to go to purse bid. They don't want it to go to purse bid, and I understand that. But let me get this super chat out of the way. Shout out to my brother Toon for the super chat. Toon says, the situation with Charlo is getting ridiculous. The man is being torn down for having his own opinion. This needs to stop ASAP. Everybody don't believe wild excuses. Exactly. And this is what it is, man. Shout out to my brother. Hey, man, I forgot how to pronounce your name again, brother. Tell me how to pronounce your name.
Nderitu.
Oh, Deritu. Okay, Deritu. Okay.
So the
N is silent. Okay, the N is silent.
No. It's no. The N is not silent. You have to pronounce all the letters like Nderitu.
Oh, Nerito.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I got you. Nerito. Okay, Nerito. Shout out to
Nerito.
brother Nerito. Where you at? Where you at? You in Nigeria?
Nairobi, Kenya.
Oh, Nairobi. You in Kenya? Okay. All right. Absolute, man. Salute to you, brother. Salute to you. What? That was kids right now. Hey, what do you? Hey, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think about? Shout out to my sister Lisa Bales. Shout out to Daniel Minta.
Hey, Lisa. What do you think about this Usyk situation, Nitty2?
Okay, what I can say is this, right? Usyk just better just take the deal that AJ is offering, because let's say this is a hypothetical that I'm offering right here. Let's say AJ drops the WBO belt, right? When he drops that belt and he gives Usyk, then Usyk versus Joyce happens. I mean, that's not a draw. That's not a fight that people want to watch, right? So he's not gonna get paid the way he's supposed to. He wants to get paid. He wants to be paid a certain way. So AJ can be like, "Yo, take the belt, right? You take the belt. Go and sell that fight." He's not gonna get the same payday if he acquiesces to what Joshua is saying. So my best bet is he should just accept the contract that Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua have drafted for him, and just take the money and just fight him. That's the only way he can get paid, but he can't get paid in any other way. So he's not a draw.
Hey, Shelton, take over for me. These kids in the background tripping. Let me shut this down right quick. No, Shelton, go ahead, Shelton.
What'd you say, Coach? I missed it. What'd you say?
No, I was just saying, go ahead and take over the questions for me right quick. I got to take care of something right quick.
Okay, like no problem. Yeah, I agree with you, Nitty, too. So okay, say AJ does drop the belt. Okay, yes. Usyk, you want the belt here. Now see how much money you make without me. Go ahead. Nobody wants to see AJ Usyk and Joyce. That's not a big fight. That's not a big draw. I know it's not a big draw in the US. I don't know about in the UK or anywhere else, but I know here that fight, that's not even that's a TV fight. That's something you see on Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon TV. Yeah. So Usyk needs to go ahead and just take the fight, take the whooping, and move on, man. Maybe you could have a good showing and be drawn into some bigger fights. You think?
Yeah, I mean, as much as Usyk just doesn't want to accept the deal, I mean, he should just accept the deal, because I don't know what the percentages are. Maybe you can tell me, but he just should accept any deal that Matchroom and Eddie Hearn are just drafting it for him, because I'm pretty sure Eddie Hearn will make sure that he gets at least something. So as much as Usyk doesn't want to acquiesce to the contract the way Joshua and Eddie Hearn are drafting it, I feel he should just take the fight. I mean, just agree to the deal and just take the fight, man. No brainer. Just do it. He should just do it.
You know what? You know what though? It really does intrigue me with Usyk because Usyk is in a position he could potentially maybe upset Anthony Joshua. I don't believe so myself, but he's in that position. So what I don't understand is, as they would say, why not bet on yourself? You are mandatory anyways. If you go to a purse bid, you're still going to have to. He still is only going to get 25% of the purse bid. You see what I'm saying? So
no matter what, you're right. No matter what.
no matter what. So if he works with Joshua, Joshua will pay him a little bit more. But if he's trying to get like groundbreaking money, I mean that's ridiculous. More than likely, it's going to be a rematch clause because when you're fighting the champion, there's always going to be a rematch clause if the champion loses. It's always like that from any top fights you've ever seen. I think the only time there really wasn't a rematch, I'm not sure, Shelby. Maybe you can correct me on this. Is when Tyson fought Buster Douglas. I thought that they were supposed to fight, but somehow on the rematch, but somehow Buster Douglas ended up fighting Evander Holyfield, and we know what happened. He lost that belt. So I don't know why they didn't fight each other.
There was no rematch clause because Tyson didn't think he was going to lose. He didn't need one.
Yeah, you can say so Usyk is making a big deal out of this whole thing. He has the opportunity to become unified champion of the world, fighting Anthony Joshua. And if he's as good as his supporters is saying he is, he's going to be the one to upset Joshua. He has a better boxing pedigree than Joshua. He has more experience than Joshua, especially from an amateur standpoint. He does have that. He has better footwork, head movement. If Joshua gasses out, Usyk can step up the pace on him and try to get him out of there or outbox him. Whatever. If you believe all of that, go ahead and just take the fight, Usyk, and make most of your money back on the rematch.
Yo,
hey, coach.
That's what I say. You know what I mean?
Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Davidson. Go ahead, Davidson.
I have this thing that I like to use. There's this premise I like to use, right? Coach, I like you to follow me on this. So Usyk won the undisputed cruiserweight title in the World Boxing Super Series, right? I mean,
yes,
he won that and he became undisputed, but he dropped the belts in early 2019 to move up to heavyweight, right?
Right.
So Anthony Joshua was in the heavyweight division since 2013, and he has unified the titles. He unified the WBA and vacant IBO titles with Vlad. He unified with Joseph Parker, right? And he has defended that, and he has defended his titles multiple times. But you can't say the same thing about Usyk. Okay, I understand Usyk has the better amateur pedigree. He has the skill, right? But I don't think that he has enough and what it takes to beat Anthony Joshua. On the standpoint, like Joshua is already proven. He's a proven world heavyweight champion. I mean, there's nothing that you can put and you say Anthony Joshua didn't overcome. He overcame adversity when he was knocked down by Vladimir Klitschko, came back, won in the 11th round. He overcame adversity with the Andrew Ruiz situation. You remember he was dropped 4 times and lost in the 7th round in the first go around in 2019. Andrew Ruiz in June came back and won his titles back in late 2019 in the Clash on the Dunes. So you can see when it comes to the experience standpoint, I can put my money on Anthony Joshua because I'm pretty sure Anthony Joshua, he has never, I think after the Andy Ruiz loss, he has never put his full back. I don't think that as much as you can say Usyk is better in the amateur pedigree, I don't think that Usyk is ready for Anthony Joshua as much as he's the mandatory. I feel Joshua's gonna dispatch Usyk and put him out of the way and wait for the winner of Wilder versus Fury 3 so that we can see the undisputed. So that's what I think.
I mean, no disrespect to Usyk. I don't think he's going to beat Anthony Joshua. I get it. I understand.
Well,
hold on, go ahead. Let me get a shout out to the we have someone new in the building. Dead Game Boxing. Dead Game Boxing. Where you from, fam? You on mute?
Louisiana, man. What's happening?
Hey, what's
What's
up,
happening, brother?
All good, man. All good. Just want to chop it up for a minute.
Yes,
go
sir.
ahead.
What I was gonna say, coach, is one of Mike Tyson's most famous quotes, right? Everybody got a plan until they get hit.
Right.
So
Right.
Usyk got a plan. Usyk get all this stuff they say about Usyk. Let's see what happens when Usyk get hit.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I don't think Usyk is a good fighter, but I don't see him beating Anthony Joshua. I don't see Anthony Joshua making the same mistake that he made against Andy Ruiz. Not taking anything from Andy Ruiz at all. Andy Ruiz did a phenomenal job. I just don't see that happening. One, Usyk doesn't have the pop at the heavyweight division. He doesn't have pop. Hell, he really didn't have pop at cruiserweight.
Facts. Usyk went life and death with Derek Chisora. So come on, man.
And it's not like he's an Evander Holyfield. Now, if Usyk was Evander Holyfield moving up in cruiserweight, fighting like Holyfield, that'd be something totally different.
I got a little bit of different opinion than you guys, man.
Go ahead, brother.
I think he should hold out. I think he should overprice himself. Because this is at least a $50 million fight. So if he priced himself out, so he can get like 12 million on 25%. So also, if he do price himself out and it go to purse bid, somebody from the Ukraine could actually pick that fight up. That fight could end up in the Ukraine. So I do have Joshua winning. But if it goes to the purse bid and it goes to the Ukraine, I think it's more 50-50. But even though we have to also look at Usyk is a very good boxer, and I'm not sure which style Joshua's gonna come in. Is he gonna come in big to take out the smaller man, or is he gonna try and box like he did the second fight with Andy? I don't think he can outbox Usyk. I don't think so. But I think it's closer than what we think. But yeah, it should be. If I was Usyk, I would take it to purse bid definitely, and see if I can get that fight in the Ukraine.
You know what? I'm not going to say and lie to you. I 1000% agree with everything you just said. I don't see Anthony Joshua outboxing Usyk. That's one. I totally agree with you on that. Two, if Usyk can hold out and they go to a purse bid, I'm gonna tell you why I agree with you on that purse bid aspect of it. Also, I was watching an interview with Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn said that he doesn't want this fight to go to a purse bid when you go to forcing these mandatories and the guy's being unreasonable. But what he's asking for now, if we don't come to agree to terms of financial terms, then once it goes to purse bid, it'll be out of his hands. You see what I'm saying? So, and that's why they were saying AJ may just drop the belt. It may not even be worth the headache to go through that. So I totally agree with you on that. That's a damn good strategy. A lot of people haven't thought about that, but that's a damn good strategy. I agree with that. I don't think
I agree with that. I think that makes a lot of sense for Usyk. If you can get that fight on your home turf and you can get more money, why not? It's just that Usyk didn't have enough pop really to keep Chisora off of him. Now, Chisora and Anthony Joshua are two different class fighters. If Usyk can't throw no hot shit at AJ to back him up and keep him off, AJ just gonna walk him down and pound him out. That's how I see the fight going.
I agree with that too. I mean, from a strategy standpoint, I don't think Anthony Joshua needs to come in the ring heavy. He needs to keep the muscle tone down, work on his cardio a lot, because you're going to need it to mess around with Usyk. You're going to have to work on your cardio because Usyk going to be in shape. He has damn good footwork. He's going to be in shape, and he's banking on the bigger guys tiring out, getting tired, and then he can go to work on them. So as long as Joshua does that, cut that ring off on Usyk. You got to cut the ring off. Cut that ring off on him, and just go ahead and smoke him out, or make it such a one-sided affair that even if he doesn't get the knockout, he lands the harder, cleaner, sharper punches or whatever. But Usyk is nothing to play with. The boy can fight. He can fight. I've been watching this guy since he was a cruiserweight. The boy can fight, and Anthony Joshua can lose to this guy. I just don't think that after what Joshua experienced with the Andy Ruiz thing, that he's going to allow that to happen again. But I could be wrong. We know that this is boxing. Anything can happen, but I just both of you make valid points because I can see it going exactly that way. Shout out to Major Key Boxing. Shout out to Major Key in the building. Major Key in the building. Salute to you, brother. Go ahead. Go ahead. My brother, Dead Game Boxing. What's going on, fam? What do you think about that? I agree with you totally. That's a good.
I mean, when you think about it, when Eddie said they would drop the belts, it makes you think, right? If it does go to purse bid, does he fear going to Ukraine that much to where he would drop the belt?
That's a good question. If it goes to the thing is because this is the thing. I understand exactly where you're coming from because Anthony Joshua is the champion and he's with Matchroom. The champion and their promoters always like to control the situation. The piggyback on what you're saying, they like to control the situation. If it goes to purse bid, they don't have control anymore. So now Joshua will be at the whims of the person who won the purse bid. To piggyback exactly on what you're saying, so that may be a reason why, this is why they're considering dropping the belt. Has nothing to do with them being fearful.
No.
Go ahead.
Let me ask a question. Dead Gang Boxing. Who's the last champion you saw that traveled to defend his title? Heavyweight champion I'm talking about.
The last one would it be AJ going to Saudi?
Yeah. Yep.
I'm saying before AJ. The last champion before AJ you saw.
Was it Fury?
Travel to defend his title? No, it wasn't.
Not to defend. To defend?
To defend their title. Yeah. The last champion you saw that traveled to defend their title. The last champion that I saw.
Wilder?
No. The last champion that I saw that traveled to defend their title was Muhammad Ali. He went anywhere to fight anyone. Went to Germany, went to London. He went wherever they were and fought them. You don't see that nowadays. The champion calls the shots, especially the unified champion. So that's one thing I agree with AJ. And why should I have to travel to fight anyone? You want my belts, you got to come see me. Period.
Okay, so here's the deal. Usyk is the mandatory, right? For that belt that AJ has. So AJ has to fight him or fight another champion. And the champions are tied up. So if Usyk wants 15, 20 million, Eddie not gonna pay that. So they're gonna let it go.
Nobody is.
Nobody will. And that's the whole strategy behind it. So you also have to look at it like this too. After this fight, AJ gonna be a free agent. So whoever wins that purse bid has the opportunity of locking in Anthony Joshua. So, there's a lot more keys to the process. I can't see him dropping the belt, and I think Usyk is going to outprice himself. I think we might see that fight. Now, who said the fight was in London? I already heard that it was already in London.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the news that's out now. I was just looking at the news now. I can find it for you because I was just looking at it. Eddie Hearn and that fight is I think it's been agreed upon. They worked everything out. It's been agreed upon, so they're going to fight each other. I was just looking at it this morning. My brother, Dead Game Boxing. I was just looking at it this morning. I got an alert on my phone. Of course, we know that Bob Arum has a contract with Sky Sports now. But
wow, that.
Yeah. So let me see. I'm gonna find it. Yeah, absolutely. I was looking at Kurt's channel. Kurt, Oleksandr Usyk. They're gonna fight at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in September.
So that should be. Yeah, which source was that?
No, this is on Counterpoints Boxing.
Nah, well. I mean, with Eddie, man, I don't know, bro. Unless it comes from like.
Let me look at BoxRec. Let me look at BoxRec right quick. I'm looking at BoxRec right now. BoxRec.com. I'm gonna look at it right now and see what's up. Do that so anything? Date schedules. Let's see. Schedules. Let's look at some schedules. Light heavy. Yeah, I'm looking on Box Rec right now, brother. Let me see. I'm gonna tell you right now. They don't have anything for heavyweight yet, outside of Tyson Fury and Wilder. But light heavy. I don't see it on Box Rec. Let's see. Date. Champions. Yeah, so I guess it's not up here yet. But yeah, apparently that fight has been agreed upon.
So what may have happened? What may have happened was Eddie may have just secured the venue just in case Usyk team they go along with it. I don't think that fight is set up yet.
Okay.
But
try Boxing News 24, Coach.
Okay, Boxing News 24. All right. Listen, shout out to my brother Johnny Blaze for the super chat. He said, just showing my support. Love your channel, Coach. Man, salute, man. I really appreciate that, fam. Let me go ahead and what is it, Shelton? What
Boxing News 24. Boxing News 24.
Boxing News 24. Yeah. I don't know why the hell I didn't think of that. .com. Okay. Let's see what we have. Boxing News 24. All right, front page. They got Wilder versus Fury press conference next Tuesday, June 15th in Los Angeles. So we have that. That's gonna be something else. Let's see. It's nothing gonna hear about that fight as of yet. About Anthony Joshua and Oleksandr Usyk. There's nothing going here as of yet, Shelton. Not on the front page.
Game boxing. You could be right, brother. You could be right.
Right. He could be right. He could be right.
Yeah, it could be that they maybe got the stadium, just like Bob did during the arbitration. He had the Reliance Stadium booked up.
Yeah, he had to secure. They have to secure the venue. You're right.
Right. So that's probably what Eddie did, and the word probably got out.
Right. He probably secured the venue, and once you secure a venue, you're gonna fight somebody. If it ain't it's not Usyk, it's gonna be somebody. You know what I mean? So a lot of times that's pretty much how it goes. But I honestly, I want to see that fight. I'm not gonna. I want to see Usyk. I want to see what him and AJ is going to do. How they're going to mix it up. This is what I want to know though. Why? I thought Usyk was ordered by the WBO, Shelton, to fight Joe Joyce.
He was, but that was in the event that the undisputed match took place. When the undisputed match fell through, Joe Joyce was just brushed to the side. Usyk enforced his mandatory. He wanted to fight AJ. AJ didn't have a fight. Usyk didn't have a fight. They just pushed Joe Joyce to the side.
Right, and Usyk don't want to fight Joe Joyce.
Nah, that's not what it is. Usyk, not that Usyk don't want to fight Joe Joyce. What Usyk did was he lowballed Joe Joyce. Instead of make the fight, he lowballed Joe Joyce to where it'll push it back to see what happens with the arbitration. So if he would, why would you take Joe Joyce when you write that you can fight AJ? I don't know which one would be more dangerous, to be honest with you. I think he already might have beat Joyce, but still, why would you fight Joyce and you can hold off and now you got the AJ fight?
That's facts. He don't win either. But what you're saying is right. He don't win either.
No, you're right. You're right about that. I totally agree with that because AJ the money fight. No one is really going to be interested from a financial standpoint in Usyk and Joe Joyce. So from a business standpoint, Shelton, it makes total sense to let me go over here and fight Anthony Joshua. If I win, I'm gonna make money. But if I win, I get the belts. I make history, and then on the rematch, I'm gonna make even more money. So it's fine from a business standpoint. I totally get what Usyk is doing. I mean, he's not wrong. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like he's not wrong at all for going at it the way he's going at it, the way he's handling it. I totally agree with that. I'm not mad at him for from a business sense. It just makes sense to do exactly what he's doing.
Right, and you got to remember this, Coach. Here's the bottom line.
Okay, here you go.
Even 25%, even 25% of AJ is going to be way more he would have made against Joyce anyway.
Peter Von Arx, thank you so much, fam. Peter Von Arx just posted it. It is on boxingnews24.com, and this is the link where you can find that the Usyk and Joshua fight is going down in September at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Hey, Peter Von Arx, let me ask you a question. Where exactly is that at in London? I'm not familiar with London. So, do anyone know exactly where that stadium is at in London?
I have no idea.
Yeah, no,
Let
I'm
me
saying
ask this.
everybody in the
Let me
chat.
ask this question. Let me ask this question right here. Okay. AJ beats Usyk. All right. Say, for sake of argument, Wilder beats Fury. Will we get that fight after that?
We're not gonna get that fight.
No.
Because, okay, Coach, let me just interject real quick.
Okay. Go ahead.
Just to answer that question. From what I've gathered, the LDBC, in party with Deontay Wilder, never wanted an undisputed champion. You have to realize that. They never wanted all the belts to be consolidated. But just, Coach, let me just ask you one simple question. What if Wilder beat Anthony Joshua and became undisputed? Will he be able to stave off 4 sets of mandatories? Because everybody's going to be coming at him, right? Usyk, Joe Joyce, Philip Hergovich, everybody's going to come at him. Dillian White again, maybe he can come at him. Will he be able to stop all those guys from challenging his belts? And you know how the IBF is very stringent and very strict about their mandatories. If you can't face an IBF mandatory, get stripped of your title. So it's not in Wilder's best interest to fight for the undisputed because he doesn't want to win. And he doesn't want that fight because if he knows he has to win that fight, and winning that fight means that he has to fight 4 sets of mandatories. And you all know Wilder has been, the way his people have been moving him, they've not been able to put him in a power position like an AJ or a Fury. So it's very difficult for him to be able to defend all the belts from all these other contenders that are coming in. That's all I have to say.
I think as it relates to Wilder, it's going to be very, very difficult to negotiate with his team. I won't necessarily say Wilder, but you're dealing with Shelly Finkel and Al Heyman. Shelly Finkel and Al Heyman does not like Eddie Hearn, right?
Yes.
I fully expect, even though Fury, Joshua has one more fight under Matchroom, I'm pretty sure he's going to re-up and continue to do business with Matchroom because, why deal with some other company or some other promoter who you don't have a good relationship with? He has an excellent relationship with Eddie Hearn and have to learn this new person and start all over again. And if things don't work out, so I really think that Joshua and Hearn will continue to work together. But now, Wilder team is very, very difficult to deal with because when it comes to matchmaking, you could just look at Deontay Wilder's career, they have matchmaked him very well. But let me get the super chat out of the way. Shout out to Leighton Evelyn for the super chat. Leighton says, Coach, the fight is in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, London. It's north. It's all on Sky Sports. It's just a little details. Even Usyk's manager said so. Okay, cool. So is that probably North London? I think that's North London, if I'm not mistaken. Just let me know if I'm wrong or not. But yeah. So I think Wilder, he puts on this facade like I'm a bad this and I want to do this. One face, one name, yada yada yada. One champion. He puts this facade on. I'm kind of used to it right now already. But I think Shelly Finkel, his handlers, Wilder has handlers. And his handlers matchmake him very well, right? And you can look at his career. He's been matchmake over 40-something fights. The only time it didn't work out is when he fought Tyson Fury, right? So they made that mistake one time. I doubt if they ever make that mistake again. So I just think that it'll be very difficult to deal with Wilder if let's say, if any opportunity was to arise, well, he win this fight and he has an opportunity to fight for undisputed, I think it'll be very difficult to deal with him, not necessarily because of Wilder, but because of his handlers, because of Al Heyman and Shelly Finkel. That's my take on it.
What I can say, Coach, about Wilder, this is a man who maybe Wilder wants to fight Joshua, but his team is not confident enough to let their man go there and lose their belt, right? We can see that evident because he dropped the. I mean, Eddie Hearn has been giving this guy like deals. He's like 5 offers. Then the zone offer, the 100 million, he didn't take it. So I wouldn't expect him to take a deal to fight Anthony Joshua after he beats Tyson Fury. So yeah, I mean, it's not gonna happen. That fight's not gonna happen.
Honestly, I'll say this too. Again, I just think that because of Shelly Finkel, Wilder's handlers. See, Wilder has handlers. You know, I get it. I understand that. Contrary to popular belief, Wilder has to do what Shelly Finkel and Al Heyman tell him to do. Period.
Yes.
Or even JD's. You see what I'm saying? Because JD's is his co-manager. Shelly Finkel is his. You know, Shelly Finkel's been in the game a long time, so Shelly Finkel carries a lot of weight. I remember when they turned the 3-fight deal, $120 million deal down with the Zone. They sat down with the president of the Zone. Shelly Finkel gave a speech, press conference, and I never forget. I'm gonna show you the video.
Yes, sir.
The reporter, I have the receipts. The reporter asked Deontay Wilder a question as to why he turned down the 3-fight deal for $120 million. Shelly Finkel immediately started talking. Wilder looked at Shelly Finkel as to, are you going to answer? He gave him a look like, are you going to answer that? And Shelly Finkel said, listen, it was a good, it was a pretty good deal, a lucrative offer or whatever the case may be. But we feel like the fight can be worth more money than that with the Joshua fight, with the Joshua fight within that contract. So, we're going to bet on ourselves. I think Deontay, was going to do A, B, C, and D, and then he's going to come back and then we'll revisit it. Of course, we know what happened. It didn't work out. So,
are you talking about the same Shelly Finkel who turned down the Wilder Klitschko fight because he said Wilder wasn't ready for Klitschko? That same guy?
She actually said Wilder was a baby just winning a title. He's a baby winning the title. It's his first title fight. He's not going to be rushed to fight Klitschko. I mean, this guy, man. I mean, it's hard.
Man, I kind of disagree, bro.
Go ahead.
I think that's too much money on the line right now, man. Too much money on the line. If that scenario happens to where Wilder and AJ both win, I can see that fight happening, bro.
You think Shelly Finkel and Al Heyman will go ahead and make that fight happen, even though they turned it down before?
I think they'll make that fight happen.
That would be a huge fight.
They offered,
it's a huge fight.
I mean, they both made offers, undocumented verbal offers to each other. Wilder made a $50 million offer. They made an offer to Wilder. I mean, that's all lip talk, But right now, the focus is on undisputed. So if they both win, it's on a collision course. I think it could happen.
But you know what else I can chime in with you on, brother, and I can believe you when you say that is because you got to look at this fact too, Coach. Wilder ain't getting no younger.
Oh yeah, I didn't look at it.
So after this fight, if he can get one more big fight to cash out and get the hell out the game, I think you take it.
Yeah, I didn't look at it that way. He's not getting any younger. I'm just saying from a standpoint, I know that Eddie Hearn and Shelly Finkel definitely don't like Eddie Hearn. He's let that be known. He let that be known in interviews. They don't like him. Al Heyman, I don't know about Al. Al don't do any talking. But we know Barram don't like Eddie Hearn. So I don't know, like I think the $120 million deal that was offered, if you're managing me, if I'm a manager, if I'm a fighter and you managing me and you tell me, look, man, I want you to walk away from this 3-fight deal worth $120 million, that the president, not Eddie Hearn, not Anthony Joshua, the president of the Zone, the guy who's going to write the check, we're going to walk away from that fight. You fired,
yeah,
right?
My manager no more.
You fired.
Yeah, you're my manager no more.
Because I'm especially Wilder, especially with the narrative that Wilder being the black man, he's fighting for his people, and then remember Wilder's the same guy that said Anthony Joshua is being pimped by Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn was a white man who's using Anthony Joshua, so he made it racial, stuff like that. So if you really believe that, let's say I go use your narrative, Deontay Wilder talking points. Well, hell, I can flip that and say, well, damn, you got two white managers. You're doing the same goddamn thing. Somebody telling you to turn down a $120 million contract, and then the guy who told you to turn it down, he said no, it was a legit contract. The money was there, everything was good. We just decided to go into another direction. At that point, you fired.
You're not my manager no more because you don't know how to manage
no more. You see what I'm saying? Because $120 million is nothing to sneeze at. For 3 fights, I'm gonna fight Dominique Breazeale. You're gonna pay me $20 million to fight Dominique Breazeale. So you're gonna grotesquely overpay me to fight Dominique Breazeale. Somebody who's flat-footed, slow, I'm gonna knock out, and then I'm gonna get paid $50 million a piece to fight Joshua, and then get a rematch.
But you gotta listen to the narrative, coach. You gotta listen to the narrative. No, see, Wilder had to bet on himself. He didn't want to be locked into no contract with the zone. For $120 million, I'm locked into whoever I'm locked into.
But it's only 3 fights, though. It wasn't like he was gonna be locked in. It was just gonna be
exactly. For $120 million, I'm locked into whoever I'm locked into. I don't care.
Yeah, but why did the guy from the zone came back and said he stepped to Wilder the wrong way? I don't even think AJ was on the table. The dude from the zone said he apologized to Wilder because he came at him the wrong way in that whole deal.
I remember that.
I don't know how he came at him, because that's a lot of money. Even if AJ wasn't on the table, I probably would have took it. But Wilder looking at, okay, he want AJ still, is not on the table guaranteed. So I don't know what the deal was, but the dude came back and said he stepped to Wilder the wrong way.
Listen, all I know is this here. You offer me a 3-fight deal worth $120 million. Joshua could be on the table. King Kong could be on the table. Godzilla could be on the table. It doesn't matter who on the table. Or you could say, listen, matter of fact, that makes it even better in my aspect. If you're going to give me a 3-fight deal worth $120 million, and let's say Joshua's not on the table, I don't give a damn. Okay, no problem. Let me get the $120 million. I'm gonna knock these 3 bombs out you got set up for me to fight on these 3 fight. I still get the Joshua somewhere later on down the line. I'm gonna take that money. That's all I'm saying. I don't know how he stepped to him. You're right about that dead boxing game. You're right about that, brother. I don't know what he meant by that. I can't really get into it because he didn't really explain why. All I know is what Shelly Finkel said. Shelly Finkel said that it was a good deal. We just decided to go into a different direction. So I'm just going by what Shelly Finkel said. You know what I mean? And I just can't any manager tell me to turn down a 3, not a 10-fight deal, a 3-fight deal worth $120 million. And we know it's a good deal. And you say, well, hey, that's a good deal. But what I'm going to do, we just going to go in a different direction because we think that the Joshua fight, this is what Shelly Finkel said. He said, we think that the Joshua fight would be more money than that later on down the line if we go ahead and go this route. So he acknowledged that the Joshua fight was there within the deal. Shelly Finkel said we just decided to go into a different direction and we'll come back and revisit it. The only problem with that is he ended up getting tied up with Tyson Fury and end up losing. But he would have been fine right there, bro.
I mean, coach.
That makes no sense.
Let me ask you a question, coach, right? I mean, Wilder, if he took the $120 million DAZN offer, that means he would have knocked out Dominique Breazeale in the first Joshua fight. That means even if Wilder got knocked out in the first round, he will still get AJ again and be able to win. So that offer was legit, and people have to understand that. You remember Wilder at the end of October, he put out that tweet with that monologue video. He said, he told Fury, I was offered more money to fight Joshua than I was getting to fight you. That means the contract was legit. But Wilder wanted that deal, but his team, Shelly Finkel, Al Heyman, who's the cancer of boxing, didn't want the AJ Wilder fight. So, I mean, they cost.
No, you're right about that. You're right about that. Wilder did say that. He said he was offered more money. Again, I'm not bagging on Wilder. It wasn't Wilder's fault. It was his team. I'm saying Shelly Finkel. It's Shelly Finkel and Al Heyman, because you got to say Al because everybody listen to Al too. Listen, you tell me to turn down $120 million, 3 fights. You got to go. And then, like the brother said, Iron Kong 26. You're right. They fired Lou DiBella for trying to make that fight happen. So you fired a promoter who brought you to the table. You agreed to come to the table for the $120 million deal, and then you end up getting rid of him.
Yeah, because I mean, you got to think about it. If you're a promoter, put yourself in his shoes, right? Your best fighter is gone somewhere else. I mean, you might look. I mean, if they giving him that money and they treating him well, I know Deontay say he loyal, but if they treat him well enough, they could lose that man. So why would you take the risk of a 3-fight deal to where he with those people for all that time, to where they can put a bug in his ear or influence him to leave PBC? You know, yeah, I'm sure they didn't want him to go.
Right. No, I understand exactly
But
what you're
they
saying.
didn't compensate him. But they didn't compensate him in return. The man didn't have 42 fights, and he made a total of what, $35 million? That's peanuts to what he was offered.
I mean, coach, after the DAZN deal, that they offered Wilder to fight Dominic Brazil for 20 million. That's the only time Showtime gave him what, 20 million to fight Dominic Brazil. I mean, these guys were not gonna pay Wilder 20 million that the way DAZN was gonna pay Wilder. So what I can say is this: I mean, the PBC and Fox and Al Heyman and Shelly Finkel never wanted to enter a contract with DAZN because they knew that they're gonna lose Wilder, because they knew Wilder, what DAZN was offering Wilder was more money than Showtime, PBC, and Fox were willing to pay Wilder. So their fear was maybe they will lose him down the line, and that's why when the Dominic's Brazil happened on Showtime, that's why they said that they're gonna pay him a bit, an incentive. I don't know if it was 20 million, but yeah, I mean that's the situation.
But that's what Dead Game is talking about. He was saying that, you know, if they was to allow Wilder, his handlers was to allow Wilder to go to DAZN for 3 fights, he may see, damn, they're treating me real good over here. Why would I want to come back to Showtime? So I don't think it was Wilder. It was his handlers. His handlers made the best decision for them. You see what I'm saying? They made the best decision for them and their brand. Wilder is the cash cow of you know, over there. He over there, which is saying a lot, but you know, he's
PBC land.
PBC. So you know, we can't let him go. So I mean, I would have loved to see Wilder get that $120 million. You know what I mean? But it didn't work out that way. His again, I keep saying his handlers, because Wilder has handlers. Is whether you guys realize he has handlers. He doesn't do what he wants to do. He has to listen to Shelly Finkel and Al Heyman. Whatever Shelly Finkel and Al Heyman tells him to do, that's what he's going to do.
Let me ask this question, Coach. For everybody on the panel, goes back to what I said, I think it was 2 months ago. Can we all agree that Tyson Fury was a cherry pick gone wrong?
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
I agree 100%.
Definitely, yeah.
And actually can give you an explanation as to why that is. And let me give you that explanation, right? So Wilder and the PBC, the way they're moving Wilder, they're moving him as if like okay, they want to match make for him. They're carefully selecting his opponents for him, right? And they didn't want to take a risk with AJ because AJ started. You remember in 2017 at TMZ Sport, Wilder called out AJ. He said that he wanted US versus Great Britain undisputed fight, you know, a mega fight. He was calling AJ way back in 2017, right? You can go and check the records. In 2018, when Eddie Hunt kept putting offers for Wilder to fight AJ, the PBC didn't want that to happen because they knew AJ would floor Wilder and he would dispatch Wilder. So what they did was try to look for a heavyweight that, okay, he wasn't that active. He a heavyweight that wasn't that active, and they found out there was Tyson Fury who was coming back. He was a man on the comeback trail. He only had 2 fights in 3 years. Perfect pickings for the PBC because they wanted a softer opponent for Wilder so that they can keep Wilder as the champion. They didn't want him to challenge or to test his wits through any adversity whatsoever, and at the time. So that's why they matched up against. So that's why Fury Wilder 1 happened, because Wilder knew and his team knew if they put Wilder versus AJ in 2018, we would have had the undisputed already, and AJ will have beaten him. Even if there was a rematch, AJ would have still won. So what they did, they took Wilder Fury 1, they put it on pay-per-view. It worked out the way it did. So even in 2019, in 2019, if you remember that closely, that contract, there was a rematch clause. But in 2018, when Wilder Fury met for the first time, but in the rematch, but stifling the rematch, Tyson Fury signed that network deal with ESPN, right? So inside it put the Wilder Fury rematch in jeopardy. So I mean, Wilder in his mind, he wanted to fight Fury again, but because of that network deal, everything was stifled. So they had to look for an opponent. So some matchmaking happened. Dominic Brazil happened. Then Wilder rejected the deal, fought Ortiz again, and 2020 February, Fury again, because Wilder thought that this was unfinished business and he will beat him again, and he didn't want the smoke with AJ. So that's why we are in this situation in Wilder Fury 3. So that's what I can say, man.
I got some more to interject on that. First, let me get this out of the way. Shout out to my brother Kurt Anderson, man, for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate that, Kurt. Thank you so much, brother, for the support. If you want to come in, Kurt, let me know. Just come in. You are blood. Y'all can come in anytime. I drop the link down below. I'm gonna say this. Derito. I'm gonna say this, brother. When you at this level, that championship level, like Wilder, Fury, Anthony Joshua, I don't think no one is afraid of anybody. I know you didn't use the word afraid. But when some people may say if you don't want to smoke for somebody, that means you're afraid of them. No one is afraid of anybody on that level. I don't think Wilder is afraid of anybody in the heavyweight division. I don't think Anthony Joshua is afraid of anybody in the heavyweight division. I just think once you're on that level, the business becomes more involved, and you make strategic moves based on what you think is going to make more business sense for you or whatever, or depending on how much your handlers have say so. Because one guy in the chat, one brother said that Wilder is his own boss. He does what he wants to do. I totally disagree. Oh, my brother right here, Bruce Leroy, the Real McCoy. I think he said that. No, he didn't say that. I forgot who said it. Somebody in the chat. But Wilder does what he wants to do. Nobody on the PBC can do what they want to do. Nobody on the PBC is their own boss. You know how I know? Anytime you have to say call Al, you ain't your own goddamn boss. Yeah. Bosses don't call nobody else. When John Gotti was the head of the mafia, he didn't have nobody to answer to. He didn't say, well, let me call such and such, such and such. When you the top dog, and you say, when these words leave your mouth, I am my own boss. I do what I want to do when I want to do it. That means you don't have to call nobody. As soon as you say, call Al, you ain't your own goddamn boss.
It was Bruce Leroy, Coach. I found it earlier. But here's the thing to your point. The only two bosses I see right now in this game are Canelo Alvarez and Manny Pacquiao. They do what the fuck they want to do.
Yeah.
Who they want to fight, when they want to fight. Everybody else has to go through their handler to get the fight set up. Am I right or wrong?
No, and I'm gonna tell you why. The reason why is because they fight on a fight-by-fight basis. Manny Pacquiao has his own promotional company. He doesn't have an exclusive contract with no promoter. You see what I'm saying? So if he wants to fight Errol Spence, he said, okay, listen, I chose to fight Errol Spence. I'll fight a one-fight deal with you guys. This is my term sheet. This is how much money I want. Al Heyman said, okay, look, we're going to make this fight happen. Because Al Heyman, remember, the PBC has a hedge fund. So they have investors that help put this money up. And Al Heyman, and I'm going to tell you how I know for a fact that whether it's Errol Spence, Deontay Wilder, they don't run shit over there. Al Heyman and his partners run the PBC. And these fighters have to do what Al Heyman tells them to do. Because the PBC, Al Heyman has contracts with the networks. So the fighter, in order for him to get a fight, you know what I mean? Al Heyman and his crew is going to be the one to book the date, the lock in the date, book the venue. They're going to be the one. The network's going to be the one to put the money up to pay the fighters. So if Al Heyman
controls the money.
Al controls the money. One who controls the money controls the fighter. So all of this big fish talking, I do what I want to do. I'm my own boss, and this guy talking about he from Wakanda and I'm Wilder. I do this and do that. Child to the please. You can't do nothing because if the networks don't sign off on it, if Al Heyman don't lock the venue in, and the networks don't put the money up for you to fight that guy, guess what? You ain't gonna do nothing. And I know this, and that's for any fighter outside of Canelo Alvarez and Manny Pacquiao. And that's all I have to say.
Yeah, man.
Go ahead. Anybody else want to? Dead game. What you got to say about that, fam?
Nah, man, it's even Manny Pacquiao, he following Al Heyman's move now, man. It's the promoters, bro. It's almost like a mafia type thing.
Yeah, he said mafia.
Yeah, it's like the mafia, man. Yeah, but they, all we can do as fans is just hope we can get the good fights, man, and push for the good fights, and that's about it, bro. Just want the good fights, support the good fights. That's the problem too, the streaming, the illegal streaming. So if we want good fights, we got to support them. So.
Yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that, fam. At the end of the day, as boxing fans, all we want to do is see the fights. That's all we want to see. I don't give a damn what company. This is the thing that get me. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask Deritu. Let me ask you and Dead Game. Let me ask you a question. I don't know how long you guys been watching boxing, but I'm 47, as you guys know. I've never seen a moment in time in boxing where fans were. It seemed like that they was more fans of promotional companies than fighters, than the sport of boxing. I'm explaining to you what I mean by that. You'll have certain fans, and I see this on YouTube all the time. Oh man, this fighter needs to go to the PBC. And if I listen, literally, I was on someone's channel. I'm looking at the chats because I always look at the chats. Terrence Crawford is leaving Top Rank in October. I know this for a fact. How do I know for a fact? Because I spoke with Bernie the boxer. I know this for a fact. He's told me this 20 times. And now after I said it on this channel, the Alphabet Boy channels has been reporting that as well. Well, the Blue Blood has been reporting it, saying the same thing. He said that is Terrence Crawford. He did let Al know. I mean, let Bob Arum know that he's leaving. You had fans in the chat saying, well, and listen, Terrence Crawford's going to make a boatload of money when he leaves because he has a whole lot of options from MTK Global to shout out to my brother Kurt Anderson, man. Kurt, let me finish this right quick. From MTK Global to maybe Eddie Hearn or even the Zone, right? So I'm seeing fans saying, well, if he don't go to the PBC, I'm still not going to rock with him. Like, who gives a damn where he go at? I never seen fans like when I've been watching boxing since I was 7 years old. You never heard me say, oh man, if they don't go to Don King Promotions, I'm not gonna rock with them. Or if they don't go to Top Rank, I'm not gonna rock with them. Or if they don't go to Lou Duval Promotions, I'm not gonna rock with them. I don't give a damn about the promoter. All I care about is are we gonna see the fights? To piggyback off what you're saying, Dead Game. Kurt, let me shut my big mouth. Go ahead, brother.
Hey, what's going on, panel? What's up, everybody? What's up, chat?
What's happening, Kurt?
Nothing, man. I was just coming across. I didn't know you was on. And somebody got something going on in the back.
Go ahead, Kurt.
Yeah. Just talking about boxing. I was listening to the brother talk about Joshua, Wilder, and Fury, and that's a good point because during the Wilder and Fury saga, they underestimated Fury. And it was a cherry pick gone wrong. And one thing about boxing, when you have star fighters, they pick and choose, and it often goes wrong. I remember Frankie Randall being picked when he came out of rehab, and he was for Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., and that went wrong, and Randall upset Chavez. So you could say the same thing about Wilder and Fury. Now, Wilder and Joshua, that's a pick 'em fight, because one thing bothers me about Anthony Joshua and certain fighters, when you hit them and they don't react well, psychologically when they get hit. You know, you get hit fighters like Canelo or Marvin Hagler, and they remain poker face. Certain fighters, when you hit them, they become discombobulated. And Joshua showed you when you hit him, he fall to pieces. You could look at the first Ruiz fight. You could look at the Klitschko fight. He was very lucky to win that fight. Klitschko ran out of gas. So Joshua, he has to get you before you get him. The Wilder fight, whoever lands first, you know, because they're both big punchers, will win the fight. This talking and boxing in general, we have a lot of good fights. Coach Malachi, I'm looking forward to Lubin and Rosario. I think that's a very underrated fight. And the fight I just heard made will be Frank Sanchez versus Egbert Jagba on the undercard. Yep, that's a good fight. Egbert Jagba on the Fury Wilder undercard, and Robert Helenius is fighting Adam Konatsky part 2. Well, second fight will be coming up, and you got Jerry Anderson on the card. But the boxing fan has changed, and just like you said, Coach, fans are worried about promotion companies and how much this fighter is getting. Now, money always played a part, but you know, you got, you know, what they call fanboys now. They can't, you know, separate their feelings with their favorite fighters. I'm a Terrence Crawford man, and I'm always arguing with Earl Spence fan. Now, I'm a fan of both fighters, just like I was with Leonard and Hearns. I just like Leonard a little better than Hearns because I seen him come up in the amateur ranks. And just like Terrence Crawford, I remember before he got on Top Rank, he was with this promotional company in Maryland, and Bob Arum, you know, paid him out, and he came to Top Rank. But he's leaving in October, and I hope he gets a legacy-defining fight. But I heard Keith Thurman is fighting Sean Porter in the fall.
Yeah, you know what, Kurt? I heard that as well. Let me address the super chat. Hey, shout out to Lee Luna. Shout out to you, sis. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really do appreciate that, sis. Thank you so much. I'm very honored and humbled at the fact that you took the time out to watch us today and send me the super chat. I really appreciate that. From what I heard from Bernard the Barber, I don't know exactly which direction Crawford is going to, but Kurt, just think about it. Crawford is going to be looking at a lot of money. He's a phenomenal talent, right? Maybe Al Heyman can woo him over there, but from what I'm hearing, from what they said, you know, from what I'm hearing, he's not going to PBC, right? Because they feel like that they are being blackballed not only by Bob Arum, believe it or not, their own promoter, Bob Arum, but Al Heyman as well. They don't want to have anything to do with PBC at all. This is what, you know, this is what Bob Arum, no, this is what Bernie the Boxer said. Now, if what he's saying holds any grain of salt, now I don't know. I can just only go by what he said, Kurt. You know what I mean? I can only go by what he said, but he's saying we're not making that move at all.
Let me say something on that.
Go ahead.
Even if, and I do think Al Heyman blackballed him. Of course, it like I said, it's like a mafia type thing. And that's what Terrence should understand. He was on the other side of the street. So, I mean, just because he did it to you when you was on the other side of the street, you should respect the game. And, you know, and you shouldn't hold that against PBC. I mean, it's how they run business, you know. Yeah, Al Heyman did blackball him. But I mean, shit, that's not Al Heyman's fighter. So, you know.
Let me ask this, Kurt. Let me ask this. You don't think Terrence Crawford is a big enough name? Because I do. I think he's a big enough name that he can go on a fight-by-fight basis, just like Canelo and Manny do. Don't you think he can do the same thing?
Yeah, Terrence Crawford name rings out, man. People try to say he's not popular, but no, his fights does better than expected when you look at the ratings. He's a known name. He's a star. He's not a crossover star, but he's a star. And I agree with you, Sheldon. He can go on a fight-by-fight basis. He'll go to the highest bidder. If he was smart, and Sugar Ray Leonard always said you should always go fight-by-fight basis because you'll maximize your money. They're gonna throw the bag at him. I don't know if it's gonna be DAZN or whoever, but they're gonna throw the bag at him. He's a phenomenal talent, like Coach said, man. I'm a huge Terrence Crawford fan, man, and he deserves it. He deserves a legacy-defining fight because I don't want his career being like Mike McCallum. What could have been? He didn't fight the big names. People were quick to put that on him. Here's a
Now
guy.
educate them. Hold on, Kurt. Right there at that point. Educate these people. Why was Mike McCallum's career the way it was? Educate them right quick.
Well, a lot of people don't know this. Mike McCallum was with Kronk, right? And let's check this out, Sheldon. And him and Hearns used to spar. Hearns' brother gave Mike McCallum the name the Body Snatcher. But when Mike McCallum was the mandatory challenger for Roberto Duran title, they was going to fight at Madison Square Garden. When Roberto Duran knocked out Davey Moore for the WBA junior middleweight title, Emmanuel Stewart went behind his own fighter's back, Mike McCallum's back, and went to Duran. People say, why fight McCallum? You can triple your money by fighting Tommy Hearns. We have the WBC strap. You have the WBA strap. Drop the WBA strap and fight Tommy Hearns. That when they did fight on June 15, 1984, that was supposed to have been unified, but Duran he dropped the WBA belt, and Mike McCallum knocked out Sean Mannion on the undercard of Marvin Hagler and Mustafa Hamsho, and Duran went and got knocked out by Tommy Hearns. So it was Emmanuel Stewart who stopped the fight with McCallum and Duran, and that kind of like really took the air out of McCallum's career. He got mad at Emmanuel Stewart. Remember, he was with Kronk, and then he all of a sudden left, and people didn't understand why. That's why.
Right, I didn't know that part. I know a lot of people ducked Mike McCallum. That's what I was trying to get you to allude to. But a whole lot of people ran away from Mike McCallum.
Mike McCallum was a master boxer who knew every trick in the book. You could look at his fights with James Toney. They're like classics, man. The first fight with James Toney. If you want to learn boxing, look at that fight. Every move in the book. Now, I personally thought that they would beat him, but he would have a hard time beating Mike McCallum. Look at the Julian Jackson fight. Jackson was kind of green, but he did hurt McCallum early, but McCallum hurt him and got him out of there. They kind of stopped the fight prematurely. But Mike McCallum was a great fighter. And Aaron Pryor could have had the big fights. A lot of people don't know that Aaron Pryor was going to fight Roberto Duran at Madison Square Garden, but his manager, I forgot his name, stopped the fight because they wanted more money. Aaron Pryor didn't know. So he could have fought Leonard and he could have fought Duran, but because of his manager was trying to be greedy, and the fights didn't happen.
Facts.
Kurt, let me ask you a question. And just let me know this doesn't make sense to you. Me and Shelton was talking about this. Okay, not to get off topic. I know we was talking about Oleksandr Usyk and I want to ask this to the whole panel and let everybody get a turn. Oleksandr Usyk and Anthony Joshua. When Terrence Crawford got bought, when Bob Arum bought Terrence Crawford out, bought his contract out from the other promoter that he was working with prior to getting with Top Rank. Bob Arum delivered on everything he said he was going to do for Crawford. Crawford ended up fighting Ricky Burns over there in the UK. He became the lightweight champion, right, at 135. Terrence Crawford, he didn't have any issues with Bob Arum. Terrence Crawford moved up to junior welterweight, right? He didn't have any issues there. Not only did he get the fights he wanted, he ended up becoming undisputed junior welterweight champion of the world. So prior to Terrence Crawford moving up to welterweight, to your knowledge, Kurt, I'm gonna just ask you this here: were there any issues that him and Bob Arum had that you know of?
I talked to Bernie, but he didn't say anything. I'm not aware of the issues they had, but I think, Coach, it took a turn where the Amir Khan fight, he really overpaid Amir Khan, and it kind of put a dark cloud over the Terrence Crawford situation because that fight lost money, but he really overpaid Amir Khan, and I noticed after that things really went south. And another thing, real quick, I'm gonna let somebody else go. Bob Arum, I've been knowing him ever since a kid. Bob Arum lost confidence and fights. What I say about that and fighters, Bob Arum was making a boatload of money when he had the Hearns and Haglers and all those great fighters in the 80s. Boxing was a different climate. I noticed the attitude change because he stopped believing in certain fighters. Like when he had Miguel Cotto, he was fine because Miguel Cotto will fight at Madison Square Garden during the Puerto Rican Day Parade. They will pack the house. Then when Manny Pacquiao came on the scene, because Manny Pacquiao was with Murad Muhammad, and then Bob Arum got him from him, he like kind of dissed Cotto and concentrated on Manny Pacquiao. Now he still had confidence, but the landscape started to change, and he lost confidence. He didn't want to pay not only his fighters but the opponents. Like case in point, Sean Porter. He said only $1 million, and we know Sean Porter worth more than that. So Bob kind of lost confidence because he said the money ain't there. He wouldn't want to shell out. But the Amir Khan fight really put a dark cloud over the Terence Crawford situation because he overpaid Amir Khan.
No. This is what I'm asking. I'm saying prior to the welterweight, Crawford moving up to welterweight. I'm going to tell you where I'm going at with this. Were there any issues that Crawford that you know of had with Bob Arum?
No, not at all. I thought everything was fine.
Okay, fine. So to answer that question, they had no issues. So when you hear people say, well, what, Crawford shouldn't have ever signed back with Top Rank. And this is what I explained to Shelton. This is what people don't understand. Now, Bob Arum always shit on his fighters. Every fighter they end up leaving him. Right when they get ready to leave, he shit on them. He did it to De La Hoya, did it to Pacquiao. He definitely did it to Floyd Mayweather. He definitely did it to Floyd Mayweather. He did it to Mikey Garcia. I want to say this. Now, if Kurt is my promoter, and I hope I can make this as clear as possible. Kurt is my promoter. He treated me good at 135. I became a champion. I became undisputed at 140. So Kurt has delivered everything he said he was going to do for me up to that point. Then Kurt say, listen, Malachi, man, I want you to re-sign with me. I'm going to get you the big fights, just like I got you the fights when you was at 135 and 140. Based on the track record that I had with Kurt up until that point, I have no reason not to believe that Kurt is not going to deliver for me. Why? Because the track record that we had up to that point has shown me that Kurt is going to deliver. This is what I tell people. Now, it's easy for you to sit back and say, well, he should have never re-signed. Look how Bob Arum is doing him. Okay, well, prior to him re-signing, Bob Arum didn't do him like that. The first fight he had at welterweight, what happened? He fought for a championship. He beat the guy who beat Manny Pacquiao, and he became champion. So no one had issue with any of that stuff. Everything was fine. Now, Bob Arum did turn on Crawford later on because he had 5 fights as a welterweight. He's been the champion for 3 years since he's been there. But that's my whole point. It's easy to play Monday morning quarterback. The same people who are saying that they don't like Crawford because he re-signed with Top Rank, these are pro PBC fight fans. These are not fans of the sport of boxing, Kurt. These are fans of promotional companies. And this is why I'm saying, Kurt, I've never heard of a time since I've been watching boxing where fans are strung out over promotional companies. Man, if you don't fight with the PBC, then you ain't fight with nobody. Idiot. Why y'all so in love with the PBC? You see what I'm saying? I've never seen, Kurt, have you ever said, let's say you love boxing. My guy was Hagler. I loved Hagler. I didn't say, well, shit, Hagler ain't with Don King Promotions or Duval Promotions. I don't like Hagler. I don't give a damn who he with. I love the man because he's a fighter. He'll fight anybody. He's good for the sport of boxing, and he ain't ducking nobody. That's what it should be all about. Now, these fans who don't like Crawford, and when you don't like Crawford, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with not liking Terence Crawford. I'm not saying Terence Crawford does not have an excellent personality. He has it off the camera, but on the camera, he don't trust the media. I get all of that. But my point is, if I had a good relationship with Kurt all the way up until when I turned welterweight, and then when I turned welterweight, I become a champion instantly by beating the guy who beat the legend Manny Pacquiao. Everything is all good. Now, a year or two go by, a couple of years go by, everything started to go sour because Al Heyman and Bob Arum cannot come to an agreement, and I can't get these legacy fights. And then now my promoter is talking bad about me These same people will say, well, shit, you know what? He should have never signed the contract. One, when I just explained, everything was good between me and Kurt. Prior, he didn't know he wasn't going to get these damn fights. Kurt, I didn't know that. Kurt told me I was going to get him. I got him in the past with other weight divisions. Everything was good. Now you saying, well, he should just leave. Idiot. Mikey Garcia tried that already. And when he tried to leave, when he had a contract with Bob Arum, he got taken to court. Bob Arum sued him. Not only that, he sat on the shelf for 2 years. He couldn't fight nobody because he had a contract. And then when he lost, he had to pay Bob Arum. So it's not as simple as I'm just going to leave Kurt. I'm on a contract with Kurt. If I leave Kurt, and I got a contract with him, regardless of what Kurt says or does, guess what? I'm going to get sued. I'm going to get put on the shelf, and it's not a promoter in the game going to touch me. So just let the contract play out, then he can leave. So I know I got kind of winded, but I hope you guys understand the situation. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, let me say something on that.
Go ahead.
When Bud re-signed with Top Rank, that was a good move because Bud get paid guaranteed money regardless. So that was an extension, and it was only a 1-year extension. And if you think about it, that 1 year was through COVID. So that was the best thing to get guaranteed money through COVID. Now, what people are saying is we all know where all the top 147 fighters are at. Bob can't get Bud the good fight because all the good fighters at 147 is at the PBC. So when people say I want Bud to sign with the PBC, it's because that's where the stable's at. He got a retirement plan right there with all the fighters over there. So if he signed with MTK or anybody else, he gonna be pretty much in this. Well, he might not be in the same situation if they can get the fight with PBC, but all the fighters are at the PBC. So I mean, I don't understand what that would be his best move if he want to stay at 147 and fight all the guys at that weight class. To me, that I would go to the PBC. I wouldn't hold because Al did this to me when I was with another promoter not to go there. That's childish. The money and the fights are with the PBC. And even if he goes solo dolo, I mean, he still needs somebody to air the fight. These promoters, like I said earlier, is like the mafia. They'll all gang up on him and don't give him any good fights. So
I think that Al Heyman could probably do that. Say, well, you ain't not gonna get none of these fights over here. But this is what I say. Terrence Crawford gonna make his money. He gonna make some money when he leave Bob Arum. Whether he fight with the PBC or not, he's gonna make some damn money. Watch what happened. Watch what happened when one of the greatest talents in the sport of boxing right now today, once he become a free agent, we're gonna see what's up. There are fighters with the PBC who can't get fights right now. Gary Russell Jr. is one of them. Keith Thurman, he at home, with his wife, so that's not going down. A lot of fighters with the PBC ain't making no money like that. There's only a couple of fighters that's making money, and whatever you call making money is. You see what I'm saying? Whatever your definition of making money is, there's only a few fighters that's making it. Errol Spence is one, and of course Deontay Wilder is the cash cow over there. He's the guy that's over there. Sean Porter, he's so. You know what I mean? Thurman was the guy at one point, but he hasn't been doing anything. So again, I don't like the idea that you need to come fight with me, come over here with me, because we don't know what the business is like. We don't know that. We know that with the PBC, their fighters don't get a whole lot of guarantee money up front. They mostly make money on the back end. If you understand the back end money as it relates to pay-per-view sales, that's going to take 90 days, sometimes maybe even 100 days or 120 days to see what the final results, the tally is going to be from the fight totals, from your numbers, right? And then that's when they decide, that's when you know how much you're going to make, how much you're going to get paid. You see what I'm saying? If the numbers don't do well, your back end is low. So you got a little bit of money up front, guaranteed money, and if the numbers don't do well, that's going to be, it's not going to pan out. Some people like more upfront money to get paid, right? So I can't tell a man what he should do from a business standpoint, right? Because we automatically assuming that, okay, if he go to the PBC, he gonna make a boatload of money. Not necessarily so. We don't know that. You know what I mean? Because what if Al Heyman favors one guy more so than the other? You know, I understand points. I understand both sides of the argument. I get what you're saying. If Crawford wants to fight the 147 pounders, he's going to have to go to the PBC. I don't like.
Well, here's my counter to that. Here's my counter to that. Those other guys at 147 shouldn't and don't matter to Crawford. I mean, Garcia ain't beat nobody at 47. Every time Porter steps up at 47, he gets beat. And if you a betting man right now, and if Crawford fights Porter, Garcia, Thurman, who you gonna put your money on? So that kills that argument right there. Ain't nobody gonna pick none of those guys over Crawford.
And I want to say this too.
Has the WBC, the WBO belt. So whatever happens, if anybody wants to be undisputed, you got to come see me. That's why I say he should go free agent and go on fight-by-fight basis. Go ahead, Kurt.
That's a good point, Sheldon. Coach, I put my Gmail in the chat, man. I want you to okay. I just want to say this. And a lot of PBC, they say, oh, Crawford got to come over here because that's where all the fighters, he can get them fights. That's not guaranteed, because when they tell me that, I say, look at Guillermo Rigondeaux. Guillermo Rigondeaux's on PBC. Did he get the Santa Cruz fight? No. Did he get all them fights? Adnan Morris? They didn't fight Guillermo Rigondeaux, so it's not guaranteed. If I was Crawford, I would go to the highest bidder, and I agree with Sheldon, you know, my brother, when he said that. That's an excellent point, and go fight-by-fight basis. And I'm going to tell you this, because I know people on the inside. There's a referee from Newark who do all the big fights. He tells me everything. I'm going to tell you this. Al Heyman has a soft spot for two fighters. Adrian Broner, he treats like a son, and Leo Santa Cruz. Them two fighters, he loved them. And when you think about their careers, they always got big fights. Think about it.
You're right about that. Hold on, chat. Hold on. Let me send you this super chat out the way. Shout out to my main man Toon. Toon said, had Pacquiao beat Jeff Horn, do you think that would have been Crawford's first fight at 147? That was the plan. I remember that when Crawford was supposed to, whoever won that fight was going to fight Crawford. Now, would that have happened? I don't know, because for some reason when Manny Pacquiao, when Crawford's name is mentioned for them to fight, Manny Pacquiao want more money than he's ever got paid before in his life, outside of the money that he made from fighting Floyd Mayweather. So when it comes to Crawford, Pacquiao won 40 million, 50 million, all kind of money. You know, I'm pretty sure he's not getting paid that with Errol Spence, but I'm just saying when it comes, you know, who knows? I don't know. But I doubt that would have happened. I doubt that fight would happen. Anyways. But go ahead.
And for the record, Al Heyman is a promoter.
Exactly. And I tell people that. Well, he ain't no promoter, he's an advisor. I said, no, he just found a loophole in the system to be able to control his fighters. You know, that's just what it is. You know, he's found a loophole and he is a promoter. You know, he found a way to do it where he's an advisor and a manager, and he has a company. The other investors put money in hedge fund, i.e. hedge fund, and he has deals with networks to give his fighters platforms to fight on. He controls the purse, and he works with other promoters on a fight-by-fight basis, i.e. he's a damn promoter. So he promotes the company. So
but that's the thing. That's why I don't understand why people keep saying he's not. If I'm a fighter and Kurt wants to fight me and I want to fight Kurt, but I have to tell Kurt, okay, Kurt, we can get this fight going, but you got to call Al. What does that make Al? I mean, it's common sense.
Exactly. Hey, Sheldon and Coach, people don't understand Al Heyman. He's been around a long time. We used to have these things at Giant Stadium. I worked across the street from East Rutherford, the Meadowlands. He used to put together those, remember those old super concerts they call Super Budfest?
Budweiser Superfest. Budweiser Superfest.
He was behind that, and he was the manager of Mary J. Blige and New Edition, and he wanted to
Facts.
manage Rakim. He been around
Facts.
a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we can't forget about the what was it on the Jacksons the Victory Tour?
Yep.
Can't forget about that. That was
Yep.
that was the Destiny album when they came. The Jacksons came. It was all 6 of the brothers came back together, and Michael Jackson had to deal with Coca-Cola, and that's when Mike Hair caught on fire, and I remember all that.
Hey, Kurt, I gotta say something, man. You was absolutely right Saturday, brother. Larry Holmes did not fight Ron Lyle because when Ron Lyle and Ali fought, they was both 33. By the time Holmes came around, Ron Lyle was already retired. You're right.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and you know, Ali, just the kind of guy he is. He fought Ron Lyle because Ron Lyle's mother needed an operation, and Ron didn't have any money. And Ali, that's why he fought Ron Lyle to give him a payday.
Facts. I was watching that fight yesterday. I think I sent it to Coach. I was watching that fight yesterday, and Howard Cosell did the whole interview on the thing. You know, Ron Lyle went to Japan in 1962, stayed 7.5 years.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
A lot of people don't know Ron Lyle and Ernie Shavers did fight. A lot of people were shocked when I tell them they fought.
Yeah, Ernie Shavers knocked his ass out.
Yeah, it was a knockdown, drag out fight. It was a war. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. You're right about that. Man, hey Kurt, I've been looking at some. Shelton been sending me some old fights, man. I was watching a fight with who that was, Kurt? I'm not Kurt. Shelton. Ali.
Salvador Sanchez and Wilfredo Gomez.
No. It was the fight that he had. The guy was a cruiserweight. He moved up. He was like 195 pounds or something like that. Black dude. It was the fight he had before the Sonny Liston fight. And I told this guy.
He fought Bob Foster.
Yeah, that's him.
He fought Bob Foster.
He was from New York. This guy was from New York. I think this is I have it on my phone. I'm finna tell you right now. I have it on my phone. I was like, that was a damn good fight. They went 12 rounds.
Or was it Doug Jones?
No, hold on. I'm finna tell you right now. Boxing Classics. Doug Jones. That's what it was. Doug Jones.
Doug Jones.
It was Doug Jones. Man, listen. Doug Jones, man, that was a damn good fight, bro. That was a damn good fight. Doug Jones, he had a nice little set too. I'm like, man, you know, Doug Jones, and I think was that the fight. I don't know. Did Doug Jones knock him down? No, he didn't knock Ali down.
Doug Jones dropped Ali. He did. He knocked Ali down.
Yeah, he got dropped. He got dropped, and everybody. That's when everybody was like, "Listen, man, Sonny Liston gonna kill Ali.
Yep,
he gonna kill him. He gonna kill him."
Ali had hard fights early in his career. A lot of people don't know he fought Doug Jones, gave him a hard fight. He looked just like Buster Douglas, same shape head. Alonzo Johnson and Sonny Banks. They all gave Ali a hard fight, and Ali was out on his feet against Henry Cooper. But you know, there's a lot of classic fights a lot of people don't know about. I was at this fight, Madison Square Garden. This is on YouTube. You got to see this fight. Leland Hardy versus Ike Padilla. Write that one down.
I'm finna look it up right now.
I'm finna watch it today, Kurt.
Unbelievable. Sheldon, I was there. This is the best fight because I've been to like 150 of them. That's the best fight I ever attended live.
What it is on, Kurt?
It's
Leland
on
Hardy.
YouTube. Leland Hardy became Master P's booking agent after he hung up the gloves.
Leland Hardy versus who?
Ike Padilla, a Puerto Rican fighter.
Okay, I got it right here. I got it.
That's a classic.
You know, Kurt, I've been on my Salvador Sanchez kick lately, man. I've been watching all his fights, man. That dude was special, bro.
Yep, I got it right here. I'm gonna save it right now.
Yes, Sheldon. Salvador was like one of a kind, man. You know, he was an unbelievable fighter.
Kurt, I remember this fight. I think this was 88, 89.
89. Remember that?
Yeah. I remember the fight. Yeah, I remember this fight. Yeah.
And another fight, Davey Moore versus Ayub Kaluli.
Yeah.
That's a war.
That's a great fight. That is an excellent fight.
I'm trying to, as a matter of fact. Oh, it won't let me. Oh, it won't let me save it. It won't let me save it. Let me subscribe. Maybe. Yeah, it won't let me save it.
Man, I love talking boxing with y'all, man.
Hey, well, let me say, man, listen, man, Kurt, man, I gotta watch this fight here, man. Like, this is what I tell these guys. Like, dudes in the chat, they be like, "Oh man, what's the name, man? Ready for such and such? He got hurt. He got rocked by such and such." Okay, listen, man, that's the fight game. You're going to get hurt in boxing. I don't look at if a fighter gets hurt or if he gets knocked down. That means he's not a good fighter, or if he fight this guy, he'll lose. What I look for is how you come back. The comeback. This guy got dropped. He got up off the canvas and he stopped the guy who dropped him, or he ended up finding a way to beat the guy who dropped him. That's what I look at. Or if he get hurt, how was he able to recover and survive and come back, weather that storm? Because I seen Ali get like he was out on his feet. He got knocked down the ropes. He was sitting on the bottom rope. It was a white guy. He was toying with him. I forgot the fighter's name. He was
Henry
toying.
Cooper.
Yeah, that's it. And he caught him with a left hook and dropped him. Caught him with a left hook and dropped him. Ali was out of there. Dundee, I think, did Dundee cut the glove or something?
Yep.
Yes. Dundee had to cut the glove, send somebody back to the locker room, get another glove, and give Ali time to recuperate because he was asleep.
He tried to wake Ali up. I'm like, oh, I never saw the fight before. This is my first time seeing the fight. I'm like, what the hell? Oh, hell no. Ali out. But then Ali, after he recuperated, he beat the brace off, buddy. So, but I'm just saying, but that was a hell of a fight, bro.
And who was the journeyman? Who was the journeyman, Kurt, from Ohio? The white guy. They made the Rocky movie behind him. Chuck Wepner.
Yeah, he's from Bayonne, New Jersey.
Bayonne, New Jersey. The Bayonne Bleeder. Yeah. Chuck Wepner. Ali did the same thing with Wepner. Yep. Ali did the same thing with Wepner. Was playing with him, and got caught with a body shot and got his feet tangled up and went down.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was a knockdown, but he got caught with a body shot. Ali got mad, got up, and got his ass out of there.
Kurt, let me ask you a question. Because I was talking to Sheldon about this. I say, man, we love Ali. We love Ali to death. But I say, man, you know what, man? He has some bad habits. Like how he'll put his hands down. He'll stay. When someone throw a punch, he'll pull all the way back. They teach you to never do that. You know what I mean? Or he'll pull it back in the angle. He'll do this. Sometimes he get caught, which he get dropped. He'll get dropped. And sometimes, like, I watched the Sonny Liston the first fight. Sonny Liston, he did the same thing to Sonny Liston. Sonny Liston caught Ali a couple times. But one thing I will say about Ali had a hell of a chin. He could take a punch. And Sonny Liston caught him a couple times. Then Ali, he kept his distance from Sonny Liston. He kind of like wore him out a little bit. So he stayed just a little bit out of range when Sonny Liston, because with Sonny Liston, everything came off the jab. Everything came off the jab with Sonny Liston. It set everything else up. And so he threw the jab. He was barely hitting Ali. Sometimes he'll miss. He'll like barely touch the chin. He'll move his head to the side. How he normally do, keep his hands waist low. And I was like, why in the hell is he fighting Sonny Liston like that? But he was setting him up. Then Ali went to peppering him with punches. And then as the fight went on, he started getting a little closer to Sonny Liston. He started fighting a little bit more mid-range, right, as the fight went on. And he was still peppering Sonny Liston. And then when Sonny Liston finally lands some punches, he'll smother him, grab him by the head. You know what I mean? That's the fight where they said Sonny Liston had something on his gloves and Ali couldn't see. That fight right there, the first fight. I watched that fight, man, and I'm like, and then Sonny Liston ended up quitting on the stool because he threw one of them haymakers and missed. And he said he dislocated his shoulder and he couldn't continue. But I'm just saying, what I'm saying, Curtis, Ali has some bad habits, man. We know he the greatest. I don't want nobody jumping down my throat. But he looked like he had some bad. I'm like, man, he has some bad habits, where he used to do, man, but he used to get away with it.
Coach, absolutely. When you think about him and Roy Jones, they were so athletically gifted, they can afford to do things. But when their athleticism start leaving, that's when Ali started to lose and he started to get hit even more. And when Roy dropped back down to light heavyweight, he started to lose. When they was in their prime, they were two of the best because of the pure athleticism that they possess. Ali did everything. Ali only had a jab and right hand. He never went to the body. That's all he needed because of his athletic gifts. He was born with that. Roy never needed a jab. Roy would hit you with a leaping left hook like he did Thomas Tate. But when you fight like that, it's not going to last long. Ali was a different fighter from the 60s than he was when he came back from suspension in the 70s.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
What I tell you yesterday, Coach? What I tell you yesterday? Did I tell you that Ali and Roy were carbon copies of each other? All athleticism.
You said that.
They all athleticism. But people don't realize about the champ was after he came back in 1970. You notice Ali started setting his feet, and he would sit there and fight you because he couldn't move the way he could move before. He would set his feet, and then when he set his feet, he still had hand speed, so he could beat your jab, he could beat your hook, he could counter you, and he could get you out of there.
Not only that, he set his feet as he got older, but Ali had a mean feint game. His feints were like he'll feint, he put his hands down, and he was great at anticipation. And I tell people this, I say, man, it's something that my coach Tommy Ellis taught me at King Kong's gym, which is Don King's gym in Tampa, Florida. He said, listen, man, you got to have good hand-eye coordination. And I didn't understand what he was saying. You got to be able to, there's certain instinctual things that the great fighters have that I didn't have. Of course, I didn't have it at all. But he was just saying that hand-eye coordination, being able to see, you look and see exactly what the fighter is going to do. Like if he flinches, okay, he come down left. You know how to roll with it. You know where to move at, how to place your feet. You see what I'm saying? You got to be able to see it. Ali was able to see what you was able to do. Ali was able to see what you was able to do before it even get there. You know what I mean? Sometimes, most of the time.
Here's a story for you. Here's a story for you guys. They was talking to Ken Norton, right? And they was asking him, how come you give Muhammad Ali so much trouble? He said, because I don't watch his feet and I don't watch him. I don't watch it. Look at his face. I don't watch his hands. I watch his chest. And every time he's getting ready to jab, his chest will flex. I know the jab is coming, so I can parry it and come back with the right. I watch his move. I watch, like you just said, I watch his chest. And when I see that move, I know what to do. That's why I give him trouble, because I'm not watching him. I'm not watching his feet. I'm not watching his body. I'm watching his chest. And I can tell what he's going to do by the way his chest flexes. And I thought that was real. I'm like, damn, I never even thought about that.
Mm-hmm. And remember something. Remember, out of 5 Ali losses, 4 came to Eddie Futch fighters. So he really knew how to fight Ali. That was the great Eddie.
Facts.
Damn, Kurt. Man, I goddamn Kurt pay attention to everything. Kurt say, I didn't even know that. I didn't even notice that.
Joe Frazier, Ken Norton.
Oh man.
Trevor Burbick.
Oh man.
And Leon Spinks.
Man, bro, hey, let's get the super chat. Shout out to my brother Sly Tennyson for the super chat. He said, shout out to Coach. You killed it on the barbershop. Yeah, thanks, fam. And salute to Fred. Salute to Fred for having me on the barbershop conversations on Monday night, the other night, man. On the 7th. I appreciate that, Fred. I really do. Salute to Fred.
So, Kurt, I got a question for you, brother. Now, I've been getting hammered on this. I've been getting mollywopped on this one, brother. I got Barrio stopping Tank, man, maybe 10th, 11th round. People say I'm crazy. I don't think so. I have never seen Tank box. He's always just walked through these guys and got them up out of there. He's fighting a taller guy with a longer reach who has some boxing skill and has good pop. I think the guy jabs the shit out of Tank, keeps him on the outside, and hits him with the overhand right. What say you?
That's not crazy, but one thing that worries me about Barrios is, will he engage? Will he fight behind his jab and remain a boxer? Or Barrios comes from a culture that you can bait him into a war, and that's what Tank will want. And will he remain disciplined and he could just beat Tank with a jab? But see, a short fighter fighting in close has the advantage. That's why Rocky Marciano, Joe Frazier, Dwight Muhammad, Kwawi, when they fought guys in close, they can break them down. Tank is going to have to fight not mid range. He's going to have to fight Barrios in close and go to the body and break them down. One thing I worry about Tank is 140. Will his power translate to 140? If not, then he's
Facts.
in trouble because he's a small guy. But will Barrios be disciplined and fight behind the jab and just box and box and box and let Tank run into the punches? But like I said, Barrios is not hard to hit, and Tank can set up his punches. If Barrios fight the right way, I can see an upset. But I don't know. That's a big if. If Tank get in there and get inside and start hammering Barrios to the body, and will Barrios make it easy for Tank and engage him in the war, or will he continue to stick, and stick and move? Well, he don't fight like that, but just use the jab. You're not crazy saying that, but Barrios is a live underdog. I still got Tank, but I would not be surprised if Barrios win. I don't like Tank at 140.
That's my whole. Everything you said is my points, and I think with Virgil Hunter, should be trying to instill that in Barrios. You cannot get into a war with this guy. You got to box this guy.
Hey, so basically, Kurt, what you're basically saying is this: if I'm understanding it correctly, if Barrios get caught, he get caught up and get baited into going into a war, his only way he can win is to stay disciplined. He has to stay disciplined and execute the game plan and work behind that jab and keep Tank on the outside. And if Tank try to come in on the inside, have something waiting on him, have that right hand waiting on him. So if I'm understanding you correctly, Kurt, you're not doubting, but you're saying that it can happen, but Barrios has to be disciplined enough to stick to the game plan, whatever it's going to take. Listen to Virgil Hunter, because Virgil Hunter is a good trainer. Listen to Virgil Hunter and execute the game plan that's laid out before you with this guy. Because that was my issue with Josh Taylor. I say, man, I picked Josh Taylor to win over I forgot the guy name again. I keep forgetting the dude's name, but I picked Josh Taylor to win his last fight.
Ramirez.
Yeah, Ramirez. But I said that the only thing that worried me about him is I say Josh Taylor will get baited into. He does get baited into war. He that dog in him would allow him sometimes. He want to fight on the inside when he don't have to. We saw it with the Regis Prograis fight. That was a damn good fight. But so he Barrios has to stick to the game plan. As long as he stay disciplined, discipline will be the key for Barrios. And if I'm understanding you correctly, Kurt, if he can stay disciplined and follow the game plan, then he can pull it off.
That's correct, because a short fighter has the advantage when he's in close. Look at Dwight Muhammad Kwawi's career. Joe Frazier had success against Muhammad Ali because Eddie Futch told him to beat Ali, you have to be in his chest. Tank is 5'5". Barrios is what, 5'11"?
5'11", yeah.
5'11".
Yes.
Keep him at the end of your jab and the end of your punches, and Tank is a very aggressive fighter, and you can use Tank aggression against him by letting him run into the jab. But like I said, see, when I say culture, when you look at Freddie Roach fighters and Robert Garcia fighters, they all fight the same way. Robert Garcia had a fighter named Jackson Marinez who got knocked out by Richard Comey. Then he had Ramirez, who was they all fight the same way. Aggressive, slow feet, overly aggressive, not defensively responsible. And that's why Mikey Garcia lost to Earl Spence. That's why Virgil Ortiz will get mollywop if he fight Jaron Ennis. You notice after Sergio Olympinets, he said, no, we need 4 years. But they was talking mess about Ennis before the Olympinets fight. But they all fight the same way. And I don't like it, because when you fight an American fighter, he's taught the Mayweather, the Andre Ward style, they're taught to be defensively responsible. And I always like fighters who can transition from offense to defense, when you look at the great fighters from the past, they all can do that.
You're right about that. And Kurt, I don't know, maybe you're like me and Shelton as well. When I as a matter of fact, let me give a shout out to my brother Bruce Goals. Bruce, go ahead, brother.
Salute, man. Hey, man, Coach Malik, I just appreciate letting me jump on the panel. Curtis, brother, what's happening? Sheldon, my other brother, I don't know who he is, but man, I just heard you talking some boxing. You got an open panel here, man. I love to come on and soak up what I can, maybe contribute a little bit, brother. So I'm kicking back here, man.
Okay, yeah,
Salute,
absolutely.
Bruce.
I'm gonna let you talk.
Bruce.
I'm gonna let you talk next, Bruce. I'm gonna let you talk next. As relate to man, go ahead and talk. I lost my train of thought. Go ahead, Bruce.
No, bro. When I was listening, Curtis was talking about Buddy LaRosa messing up the Duran and Davey Moore fight, the Duran Aaron Pryor fight, with Davey Moore, and I just jumping in, man. What are you guys shooting here? Because I was a little silent for a few seconds while I was plugging in.
No, I remember now what I want to talk about. When I look at a fighter who's going to fight, it's very important to me who his trainer is. I look at the trainer, and I look at the trainer's track record when working with certain fighters or just working with fighters in general. And what I said about same thing Kurt said. I said the same thing you said. I say the one thing about Robert Garcia fighters, they all fight the same. They're going to try to overwhelm you with offense. Just throw 1,000 punches. When they get close, try to impose their will on you. But if they can't do that, they don't know how to make adjustments. And I don't know if it's because Robert Garcia is not training them correctly, saying that, hey, we don't need to make adjustments, just keep doing the same thing. But it's like they fight the same way. I was on a panel with my brother, what's his name? What my brother? Major Key Boxing. Major Key Troy. Salute to Major Key Boxing. If you don't know who it is, please go to his YouTube channel and subscribe. And they had Tommy Brooks. We had Tommy Brooks on there. I was invited to come on, right? It was those brothers. Yes, sir. Tommy Brooks. Tommy Brooks was on that show. Riddick Bowe was on that. Not Riddick Bowe. Rockman was on the show. Junior
Jones and Chop Chop
Corley. DeMarcus Chop Corley was on there. Kurt, I wish he was there. And I asked Tommy Brooks, I say, when you train a fighter, do you train them? Do you have like a plan A, B, or C, or even a D if you need be? Let's say you train one way to prepare for a fighter. If that don't work, you have a plan B, and if that don't work, you have a plan C. It seemed like that Floyd Mayweather was able to figure a lot of fighters out, like McDonald's and stuff, do a lot of counters and stuff, right? Hey, Kurt, do you know what Mr. Brooks told me, Tommy Brooks?
What'd he say?
He said, no, I have a plan A and a plan B. And he said, if plan A don't work, we go to plan B. If plan B don't work, we go back to plan A.
He said too many plans makes you confused. And if you're confused, you get beat.
Hey, Kurt, what you think about that, Kurt? That
funny.
Was classic. That was classic. Kurt, I say, man, you know what? I'm gonna drop because I made the key so I can repost the video. I'm gonna repost the entire interview on here, but specifically, I'm gonna get to that part, bro. That was classic. I've never heard anything like that before in my life. The legendary Tommy Brooks, and he said, what did he say? He said he got his start. He worked with all of the greats. He said he worked with Angelo Dundee. He worked with all of the greats.
Eddie Futch. He worked with Cuss. He worked with the guy who trained Duran.
Ray Arcel.
Ray Arcel. He worked with all those guys. It's just like now you can see it in today's fights. Look, people jump on me about this, but it's the truth. Canelo Alvarez fights one way.
Yeah, he does.
Am I right or wrong? He fights one way.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that what he does is usually better than what the other guys does. I want to see Canelo Alvarez in the fight where he has to make adjustments because he never has to. He fights one way, and what he does is usually better than his opponent. Am I right or wrong?
That's a good point. You're right. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, sorry about that, Kurt. Go ahead.
What makes Canelo successful is his mind. he's dedicated to the sport of boxing. He looks at and he has big pictures of Sugar Ray Robinson, Muhammad Ali on his wall. So he appreciates the old school. He says stuff like boxing is life, life is boxing. And see, when you dedicate yourself to the sport of boxing, he's always in the gym, you make yourself 10 times better. And when I picked him against the field, because I don't believe as men, the content, the character, that they're not they don't have the character to beat him. All the fighters, Andrade and Plant and Charlo, they don't fight anybody. They're very inactive. So when you get the call to fight somebody like Canelo, people don't realize this the psychological effects it has on a young fighter fighting a fight of that magnitude. Instead of talking to 5 writers that week, you're talking to 100. And you have a lot of nervous energy. It's the fight of your life, and you're not ready. I love fighters who has experience, and it becomes a glass of water. When you're young, you're supposed to fight tough fighters in different styles. When you look at Floyd Mayweather's career and Bernard Hopkins' career, they had it rough. Floyd was fighting tough guys like Henry Brucelis and Carlos Hernandez, Gennaro Hernandez. They said he was going to lose to him. Gennaro Hernandez was 41-1, and they was like, "Oh no, he's going to beat Floyd. It's too tough." Diego Corrales, Jesus Chavez. Floyd was in tough. Tony Pep, Victoriano Sosa, and when you look
Jose
at Bernard
Luis
Hopkins,
Castillo,
exactly that helps a fighter. When Sugar Ray Leonard would have never beat Tommy Hearns if he never would have lost to Roberto Duran in Montreal.
Facts.
It made him a lot better fighter. And Bernard Hopkins had a hard time with Antoine Eccles and Robert Allen. He fought them 3 times each. Segundo Mercado, when he got knocked down twice, then they fought the rematch in DC, and then Bernard knocked him out. When you have careers like that, you have a young fighter, you put him in tough so he can learn. He's either going to sink or swim.
Man,
and
Kurt,
that's what you have to do.
You hit the nail right on the head, Kurt. So all of this stuff about, we can't be protecting these fighters because all of these guys are good fighters. But of course we know there's levels to it. But if you really think that this fighter is as good as you say he is, if you really believe he's that great, the only way you're gonna it's like fighting dogs. Like I think in every hood, inner city, you have a crew of guys who like to fight pit bulls. And the only way you're gonna know what your pit bull is made of, you got to fight him against the pit that's probably been beating all of the other dogs or whatever, or one of the top pits. You got to put him in there with another dog that has a track record of getting it down. That's the only way you're gonna know what he's made of. You can't put him in protective custody when he ain't ready for that. In boxing, you see a lot of that now with the matchmaking. We're gonna make sure. Well, that's been going on for a long time.
Oh, bro, that's so true because I go back with Curtis to the day when 2 guys had a beef. That was it, man. There was no cross the side of the street, and you didn't have to deal with how much they were going to make and 40, 60, and all this other baloney. Fights got made. They were more macho. They were more men back then. The fans demanded these fights. Maybe all this bullshit went on behind closed doors, but the bottom line was we were fed these fights. We were fed Duran and Leonard. We were fed Hearns and Marvin Hagler. Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, man. We got Sanchez and Gomez 3 weeks before that. That's why we're so spoiled now. Now we have apps for these pay-per-view fighters that nobody's ever heard of, beyond the hardcore boxing fan. And they expect us to shell $40-$50 out for this. This is the sour end of boxing. But, now they're coming out with some excitement again. So I'm getting that spark back again. But, as far as the old days go, there was no talk of cross promotion, and fighters fought the best. They fought each other. Maybe they only had 2 divisions, WBA and WBC, but they unified a lot of titles back then because the fans demanded it.
And another thing too, on Bruce goes to pick it back off what you're saying. Back then, they only had like 2 belts. They didn't have, like 4 or 5 belts like they have.
That's true. But they also had. You got to remember, they had the NABF and the USBA, which were
those are the belts. Those are starter belts.
If you got the USBA or the NABF, you knew you were going to get a world title shot. You know, you were
Facts.
pretty much guaranteed the mandatory. So it was a world of
You got
two
a super
belts,
chat,
but you
coach.
had
Yeah, I'm gonna address it.
no. It was like instead of a super champ, you almost had a junior champ, a United States champions. But all the best held those USBA belts. Muhammad Ali had it when he fought Joe Frazier. You know, they were as respected or more respected than the WBA is today. So, you know, that as far as those belts are concerned, man, I'm not a big fan of belts. I'm a big fan of the fighters. I tell people, man, when Larry Holmes was top at the heavyweight division, he never once was an undisputed champion, but everybody for that 5 or 6 years that they knew who the best heavyweight in the world was, Larry Holmes. There were 10 fighters that ran around with belts back then, but none of them could say they were the heavyweight champion because Larry Holmes was the man until he lost to Michael Spinks. You know, it was fans really didn't care about the belts. The belts were nice. They were nice ornaments, but it was the fight. It was who's fighting who. And it was never just a Chavez fight. It was like a Sugar Ray Leonard Hearns fight. There were two stars. There was no A and B. There were two A stars. And you know, that's what we need today, man. They're gonna make the fights that we want, and we'll pay for them. You know, this heavyweight card coming up now is looking better and better every day. It seems like they're stacking it with some young heavyweights, with Sanchez and Effie. And you know, it's looking better and better. So you know, every time I say boxing is going in the dumps, I get a jolt in the ass and I get excited again.
Yes, sir. You're right about that, Bruce. I agree with you, brother. You know, lots going on. Shout out to my man Toon. Shelton, this question's for you. Toon says, Shelton, Marcus Brown versus Canelo at 175. How do you see it?
It'll never happen. Marcus Brown is too big for Canelo. He'll never fight him.
There go your answer, Toon. He's it's Shelton's opinion that fight will never happen. You know. Now I will say this though. I can't complain. So far this year, we've been getting some good fights. We've been getting some good fights so far up until this point this year. You see what I'm saying? I mean, outside of the Canelo versus Yildirim, we know that was trash. But the undercard was fire. That undercard was fire with the women and stuff like that. That was on the undercard. But outside of that fight, we've been getting some pretty good fights. We have this weekend, I think we have Shakur Stevenson. I forgot who he's fighting. You know, my bad with name. I forgot who he's fighting, but Shakur Stevenson's fighting up next. He's from New Jersey. I love Shakur Stevenson. He's one of my favorite young fighters. I love that kid. I love that kid a lot. I'm not gonna lie, man. That boy can get it down. And then of course we know in July. No, we have after Shakur Stevenson, we have the fight I'm going to here in Miami with Teofimo and Kambosos. That's going to be a good fight. Hopefully, you know what I mean. That's going to be a good fight. And then after that, I think we have who we have after that. No, we have Tyson Fury and Wilder on July 24th. Do we have anything in between that?
Yeah, we have.
We
Carlo.
got Mel going for us undisputed.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about that. Of course, I got my money on Mel. I want to see him get it, especially now after everybody calling them Uncle Toms and Coons and sellouts. I said I got to go for Mel. I got a
question. I got a question for Kurt. Now, Kurt, this is a serious question, brother. How do you deal sometimes when you co-hosting with Blue with all the garbage that comes through on the chat? How do you deal with that?
Oh man, it takes, man. You know, I could be very aggressive, but I gotta remember, my father always said, talking boxing, you're gonna have idiots galore. And he said this when I was 8 years old. You just ignore it and you just let it roll off your back, because if you worry what people say and you can't control what people think, boxing gonna make you look like an idiot, and you just gotta ignore it, because when you stoop to their level, then a guy from a distance ain't gonna know who to fool. So I just ignore it. I just let it roll off my back when they say crazy things and people have crazy opinions. And if you're confident and you know what you're talking about, then you're not gonna stoop to that level, because you got fanboys, we get trolls, we get this, we get that. I get stuff, they respect me, but it's just dealing with the stuff, man. I'm only here to talk boxing. I take boxing serious. I'm a playful person because, like I said, when you don't know what you're talking about, you make yourself look bad. So, you got trolls and you got the rivalry, you get guys from the UK, and I like the UK, and because that's what boxing was invented. That's where everything came from. So, but I don't have no problems with him, man. And you got fans, who are fans of Earl Spence and Deontay Wilder, and they can't do no wrong. And, you have to look at fighters, even if he's your favorite fighter, if they deserve to be criticized, you criticize them. I like Sugar Ray Leonard, but he was phony. I love Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Robinson used to put his hands on his wife. So did Sugar Ray Leonard. And he wasn't a good father. And half of the time, he wasn't a good human being. But you have to separate the man outside the ring than the man inside the ring. I love them, but most fighters, I've been around fighters since the 80s. Hang around. I used to be at Lou Duva's restaurant on Union Boulevard in Tortoise, New Jersey. Bobby Chaz.
Right.
Tony Ayala was a serial rapist. Carlos Monzon killed his wife. He had the attitude of a budding serial killer. Seriously.
Facts.
He was a mean dude. You have to separate the fight. Jake LaMotta was an animal on two legs.
Yeah.
Vicky LaMotta tell you that. She wrote the book. And she wrote the book. So you have to separate fighters outside the ring than inside the ring. I admire what they do, but that's it.
Did you see Sugar Ray Leonard when they punked him?
Hey, Coach, I gotta go take care of some business, man. I'm gonna see you tomorrow, huh?
All right. Yeah, we're gonna get ready to wrap up right now, anyways. Kurt, you got one guy. One of the fanboys is upset with you. He said, "Why are you on this clown dude's channel?" He's talking about me. So he doesn't. He says I'm a clown, and he say he lost respect for you because you're on this channel. Sir,
wow.
Wait a minute. Let me address that.
Okay.
I'm 54 years old, man, and I love boxing ever since I was a kid. Because you may have an issue with Coach, I don't. Because you don't like him, and me and Coach and Sheldon Moore and Bruce Goals, these are guys who know the sport inside and out, and I have fun talking boxing. I don't care if I'm in Mexico, UK, Scotland. I don't care if you're black or white or whatever. I just want to talk boxing. I can't have the attitude, well, he doesn't believe in the same philosophy, so therefore I hate him. I just got finished telling you that, listen, man, they're gonna critique you, they're not gonna like you for whatever reason. I love the sport too much to let to let people keep me away from boxing channels that you may not like, and I get along with them. He brought me on the show. Hey, the guy knows boxing. Sheldon Moore knows boxing. Everybody knows me. I don't got a problem with anybody. So, I'm going to be on a lot of shows.
So,
hey, Kurt, see you next time, man. Bruce Goes. You know how we do it, Coach. I'm out of here. I see you tomorrow.
Hey, Sheldon, 1 second. Get my number from when Coach Gmails me. I'm telling him to pass you my phone number.
Okay,
Roger that. I'll get it from him tonight. Thank you, sir.
All right.
All right. Sir. Hey, Sheldon, anything you want to wrap? Not Sheldon. No, Sheldon. I know you said you're fixing to go. So, Kurt, anything you want to wrap up with, brother, before we sign off?
Well, I just want to say, everybody, get your cash ready. We're going to have 3 pay-per-views: Barrios and Tank, Pacquiao and Spence, and Fury and Wilder. And get your cash ready. But I'm thankful for being on the show. I just want to talk boxing, and I'm grateful for being. Thanks for inviting me. Bruce Goes, my brother, Coach Sheldon Moore, and the other brother. I don't know his name, but salute to you. Everybody enjoy their day.
Peace
out. All right, thank you so much, Kurt, man. It's an honor. It's an honor and a privilege to have Kurt on. Kurt is a boxing historian, and I know if you guys notice, when he talk, I keep my big ass mouth closed because he knows more about the sport of boxing. He's forgotten more about the sport of boxing than I can remember. You know what I mean? I'm only 47. He knows his stuff. So I like to have people who know more than me because it helps me grow, helps me learn, and makes me deep dive and do research. So I really appreciate Kurt. I really love this brother, man. He's a beautiful spirit. And I mean that with all out sincerity. I really mean that. So Kurt, salute to you, brother, and I hope you have a good day.
Salute, everybody.
Bruce Goals, anything you want to close? Anything you want to close the show with, brother?
Coach, I just appreciate you letting me jump on this panel, man. I know it's a no bullshit channel. There's no fanboys here, man. You know, just this is the way I am too. You know what Curtis said. All I can say is I double that. Everybody out there can see me. I'm all over the place. I go on every channel out there, man. If you don't like me, then I won't come back. But I appreciate getting the knowledge. I appreciate sharing it, man. You know, I've been around this sport way too long to be one of these new age fanboys, brother. So I just want to salute you and your panel for keeping it 100%, man.
Yeah, you know what? I really appreciate that, Bruce. Bruce, man, to come back. You know, we on every day. I had to move, but we on every day at 3:00. Which, if you're in the UK, it's 8:00 your time.
No, man. I'm in Rhode Island, brother. I'm in. It's 5:10 right now.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, all right. Oh, we're on the East Coast. I'm in Miami, so it's the same time.
I sound English, bro?
Huh?
You think I sound like I'm from England?
No, you sound Irish.
Yeah, I got a little bit of Irish back in me, a little Italian, a little everything, man. New England transplant, you know, brother. Hey, peace to you, peace to the family.
Yes, sir, absolutely, man. So shout out to my brother Bruce Goals. Shout out to my brother Kurt. I'm gonna drop Kurt's his YouTube channel. He has a great YouTube channel. I forgot the name of it, guys. We want to give Kurt the Ali Bell. We're going to give my co-host Shelton Moore the Ali Bell. We're going to give Bruce Goals the Ali Bell. We're going to give Nuretu the Ali Bell. And we're going to give everybody in the chat the Ali Bell. I'm going to wrap it up, and I'm going to give everybody a shout out. You know how we do it. For the brother who called me a clown and don't like mad that Kurt was on the show, sir, it's very simple. If you don't like the show, sir, you don't have to be here. It's simple. You don't have to be here. You know, you don't have to be here at all. So let me go ahead and give everybody a shout out. Shout out to Topal. Shout out to Johnny Blaze. Shout out to my brother Toon. Salute to you, fam. You know I got much love for you. Shout out to Onyx. Shout out to Danny. Shout out to Bon Scott. Shout out to Paul CX. Shout out to Proud Father. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to Javis Bickle. Shout out to Elvis. Shout out to my brother Elvis Hansen. Shout out to the Bon Scott. Shout out to Smokey Joe. Shout out to Lil Green IP. Shout out to Johnny Blaze. Shout out to Topal. Shout out to Vanilla Fried. Hold on, guys. Shout out to Peter Von Arx. Shout out to Onyx again. Shout out to Danny. Shout out to Wizard Sleeve. What's up? Shout out to who else we have? I don't want to call the same names. Shout out to Michael Andrew. Shout out to who else we have? Javis Bickle. Shout out to, let's see. Shout out to Philip Metcalf. Shout out to Michael Andrew. Shout out to D Boxing Fan. Shout out to Wizard Sleeve. Who else we have? Shout out to, let's see. I said Johnny Blaze. Shout out to Todor Lynn. I guess that's how to pronounce your name. D Boxer fan. Shout out to the smile back if you're ugly. Shout out to Dennis Canoli. Shout out to my sister Karma Serene. Let's ring the Ali Bell for Karma. That's a beautiful woman there. Shout out to Karma Serene. Shout out to Danny. Shout out to Sly Tendencies. What's up, fam? Man, you should have came on the panel, bro. And you guys know when I drop the link, anybody can come on. You want to come on, you can come on. As long as you're respectful, you can come on and don't disrespect the guests. You can come on anytime. You know, I don't have an issue with that. Even if you don't agree with me or none of that, it's not about agreeing or whatever. Come on this channel, say your piece, and that's it. You can talk, bro. Just as long as you're respectful. Shout out to King KO. Shout out to Lee. Shout out to the Lee Luna. Shout out to Lee Luna. Shout out to Angus. Shout out to Peter Von Arx. Shout out to Joe B in the building. Who else we got? Once again, let's see. Who else we have? Shout out to my brother Charlo. Ring the Ali Bell for Charlo, man. Ring the Ali Bell for Charlo. My brother, 40 years old. Shout out to Michael Andrew. Let's see. Let me see what we have. Shout out to my brother Dragon Leg. I want to make sure I don't forget anybody. Shout out to Eduardo. Eduardo Fundora. Shout out to you, fam. Shout out to the Joker. Other than that, this is our boy Coach Malachi Williams, representing for New Media Today USA Boxing. You see what I'm saying? We're going to be back on again tomorrow at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Other than that, this is our boy Coach Malachi Williams, representing for New Media Today USA Boxing. You know how we do it, baby. Peace.
Man, I'm out of here, bro. Let's go.